Boom, 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 Boom Burnham. That's your name. Let's tell the story of Boom.
Oh, of course, man. So we're like, me and you.
Oh, of course, man.
Of course.
Then you broke eye contact as if to go, I'm really going to tell. Like,
I'm gonna
focus.
see the-
No, I want you to
I'm
focus.
visualizing this in front
like
of
a
me.
performance.
So we're like, we're in Montreal. So it's like the after festival, Just for Laughs, Just for Kicks, a little.
I only go just for laughs.
Yeah, wait, what is?
Why else would you go?
I don't know.
People used to go for industry and deals. I go for the laughs.
Yeah, of
just if
for
there laughs.
Yeah, just for laughs.
If there were a joke that a dad would make about that festival, that's it.
Is it?
I found it.
I go just for the
I
laughs.
just go for the laughs. And how many times do you think I make that at that festival? 15
You never stop.
per diem.
Yeah.
I only allow myself 15 per diem.
That's great.
So we're at the Just for Laughs.
So we're at the after party. Purple curtains, bumping music. And we're in the corner.
Kind of the worst. Did you hate it?
It was the greatest.
The greatest.
Oh, it's the greatest. Yeah.
I remember being at the party though and being like, "This is not my favorite."
Yeah, but that's where
where this comes in.
So that's where the story
That's where
started.
Boom begins.
Me starting.
Yeah.
Me, I approached you. You're standing there.
Yeah, we didn't know each other that well.
Not enough. Not enough for this story to happen.
Not enough for what did happen to happen.
And we're just looking at people, and I remember looking at people and just like commenting on their clothes.
Yes.
Like there's like a man in a striped shirt.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, "Where's Waldo called? He wants to know where his shirt went."
Boom, boom, boom. It was always 4 booms. Or more. It was the boom game.
And we would just go, and you would give one, be like,
yes. I'd be like, look, it's Orville Redenbacher. Boom. But that, you see, mine wasn't that good. Yours was a joke.
No,
but that didn't matter.
No, but then by the end it'd be like, "You got corduroys on."
Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. I heard you walking.
Yeah.
See, sometimes there'd be 2 parts. But we do the booms. See, the comedy philosophy, first of all, a couple things about the boom game.
A couple things about the comedy philosophy.
Of boom game.
Yeah.
One, it's fun to be mean when you're friendly.
Of course.
We're both friendly guys.
Yeah, sure.
And you need that safe place, especially at a party.
Yeah.
Are you, this is kind of a performer cliche, but I realized, I'm actually very glad this came up. This was kind of like a breakthrough in my therapy recently. I was like, why am I anxious at parties? Sorry to dive right in, but let's just dive right in, Boom.
Yeah, why not do it? Let's go right to it. Right to the couch.
Oh, so yes, jump right in. What's today? Today's Wednesday. I had therapy today. But this is what we talked about today. This is what we talked about last week. I was in there and I was like, why am I anxious at parties? Why? Why do I get that way? Because I want everyone to like me. Yeah. That's what it is. And in a party, there's so many variables. There's so many people, which is why I'm comfortable when I'm in front of them talking to them with a microphone.
Yeah.
I can kind of control and how I'm being perceived and all that sort of stuff. But if there's all these people, I don't have time to go around and make everybody my friend. So I just kind of panic and my body just goes like, let's just beat it. So I always want to leave. Yeah. But really, what you really need to do, what I need to do, is realize that everybody doesn't have to like you and you can just play the boom game.
Well, see, that's what's so strange. It's like,
talk about
you
it.
have well, that's the thing. Well, the way you are on stage, you're very similar to yourself.
Yeah.
So you are getting on stage thinking like, if people like my act, they like me.
Oh, dangerous area.
Yeah. Because I don't really feel like that because I feel like
no,
I don't know. And conversely, I don't know how to be myself. Like in things like this, I'm comfortable with you,
right?
But like if there's a interview or somewhere I have to be myself, but in a funny way, I don't know how to. Because I haven't worked on that on stage. Like my on stage thing, I feel like might as well be doing a play or something, just reading lines,
but you
being a character.
You're being Bo-ish.
Yeah.
You're in the neighborhood of Bo, but you're certainly doing, you're turning something up.
I couldn't casually be that guy.
You're adjusting levels.
I couldn't casually riff as the person I am on stage, no way.
Really?
I don't think so.
No riffables? I understand, because I first of all, I love your stand-up very, very much. Look at these old notes. I'll ask you some of the questions I asked. Who was that? Nope, these are all just tour dates. Anyway. No. That was like what to plug.
Oh, these are all just tour dates.
No.
Flip.
Oh, just so many.
I was wondering why those pages were blank.
Boom. The rest of the podcast, it's a 90-minute show, and we just do booms. I was actually just talking. I actually did say to my therapist today.
Yeah.
It takes a long time to get to the point where I'm like, I'm Pete off stage, and I am Pete on stage. Same Pete. I did a show with Mark Normand. Name check. Do you know Mark? He's a nice guy. He's in New York.
Check it again.
Mark Normand.
Yeah.
Check it again. Like a jukebox, and if you nudge it again, the song of your memory will play, and you're like, there it is. Mark Normand. That's a third check. This is a big day for Mark. I think he listens to the show.
That's great.
Or he lied to me. He was talking to me, and he was like, hey, it's weird, man. This is a bad Mark Normand impression. It's kind of like John Mulaney, Dan Natterman. A lot of name checks right now. He's just one of those old-timey radio boys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sit in a rocking chair and put him on, and he's like, Eisenhower. But then he gets up and does modern stand-up, and you're like, how do you know about Blu-ray? He's like, yeah. You know when you're twirling a cane, and a couple of dames walk by, and you want to give them the cane, but you don't know the protocol? What? Talk about caramel popcorn. That's what I think old-timey people did stand-up about. So anyway, but then I was saying to my therapist that took a long-ass time. That's a new thing. Just today I was saying, I was like, it's an isolation and it's a heightening of your persona. It's this constant navel-gazing, who am I, what do people expect, and what do I do naturally, and then merging that into this thing that is that guy. I'm that guy in therapy. Bring it to stage.
But isn't it a two-way street? I mean, doesn't it also become then your stage persona, or what you created there then drifts into your
Absolutely.
Because what do people expect me to be in a room or at a party?
Well,
that's deadly.
Fuck
I'm bad
that
at that.
shit. Fuck that shit. I never want to go into a party and feel like I have to perform.
I find mostly the comedians who are on tend to be the ones that I find the least funny for the most part.
Yes.
But then there are some people that are on that are so insanely funny that I...
Yeah, they almost can't help it. It's just like...
But are so insanely that I do... There are a few... I would say, like... Who would I say is like that?
Effortlessly just funny all the time?
Like TJ. Like TJ Miller for me.
TJ's a funny guy.
He's so funny all the time.
He's like crunching the numbers of it. You're just like, what the fuck did you just do?
And then it's pretty incredible to watch him, and then he just brings that on stage. He just is on stage.
Well, that's one of those guys.
It's unbelievable.
That's one of those guys. One of the first guys that I noticed was that thing. I was like, oh, you're TJ all day.
Yeah.
I mean that as a compliment.
But that for him, it's effortless. But for some people, it's like... it's just
I think that took time.
Being on and being so...
How long have you been doing standing-up comedy?
It's been about...
I know that's a horrible
4 years?
question. I used to not like being asked that question.
No.
When I was under a decade or whatever. Because it's like, how much time do you have? It's annoying.
No. About 4 years.
4 years. Okay. So I would think that you're doing exceptionally well. And then do you want to do that? Do you want to be... this Bo that I'm talking to on stage? Because
no, I have no want to be honest, or maybe more honest. Well, not more honest.
I have no want to be honest.
No, I have no want to be. No, definitely not. That doesn't excite me. Like because I did theater for all my life.
Yeah.
Like, what excites me is like the way I just sort of describe it is like I work really hard on my stand-up to be able to exist like that for an hour. I think what would be the most fun and exciting and even like a little bit therapeutic way for me to exist an hour a week or whatever.
Right.
Because most of what I don't do many sets, so mostly I'm just doing at a college or something, I'm doing my show. Mm-hmm. And that's how I always make it. It's like, how would I want to be? What would be the funnest way to be for a whole hour? So
almost like a theatrical performance.
Yeah. So... I used to think when I started, I was doing music, I was like, well, one day I'm going to put down the music, I'm going to become a real stand-up. That's what I thought.
Interesting.
And then I found...
Hypercritical.
Yeah. And then I found people like Tim Minchin, who's this Australian comedian.
I know
who's
Tim Minchin.
And Bill Bailey, all these people. And I was like, oh, wait, this sort of route that I'm maybe headed isn't inherently worse. It's actually inherently better for me, way better for me.
Interesting. That's great to be aware of what you'd like to be doing. Because, I'll admit that I am of the thinking, or I seem to on the show always be like, it's the truth tellers that are the best comedians.
Yeah.
But you're kind of saying, I'd rather have it be a performance that's separate, that can just be silly and kind of entertaining.
Right. Well, and the truth doesn't necessarily
Not kind of entertaining, but,
No. I know what you're saying. It's a kind of entertaining. But like truth tellers are, it can be great when it's like straight from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
But also like Steve Martin, what he did was he was doing a certain truth about like what our expectations of comedy were and what it meant to be
it was like a
silly.
satire.
But yeah, and that so the truth is just like coming from a different place. But
there is a truth to it, and a truth that you wouldn't get at if Steve Martin got on stage and was just like, my fucking wife is killed, like it's real. We would have lost some of the truth that he's saying about the silliness of show business. The silliness. I think you appreciate this about Steve Martin. I'm fascinated with how he's fascinated with what a show is. Like, this is the show.
Yeah, of course.
I'm telling jokes. How much was it? How many people are here tonight?
Yeah, exactly.
All this sort of stuff. Making fun of the idea of a show, and that's a different kind of truth. You're kind of stretching my idea of what comedy is, but it's interesting that music is considered fake comedy.
Of course, yeah, of course. Well, I would say it's further away from the purest form of stand-up comedy, but it's a different way of storytelling. It's,
people love it.
There's rhythmic inherent.
If people didn't love it, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No.
If people didn't love it, people wouldn't be so hard on it. Like, if it didn't destroy, comedians would not be in the back of the room being like, fucking guitar act.
But I'm the first one to admit that it destroys in some instances because it cuts corners and because you can set bad jokes to music and it becomes funnier because it's just packaged.
Well, you can set bad poetry to music and have it become a good song. You're like, that's amazing. But if you wrote down the lyrics to some great songs, you'd be like, this is kind of sloppy. But you put it in music, you're like, but is that a cheat or is that just like a wonderful tool?
But it can be used as a
boom, 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 boom. I boomed myself. I just boomed myself.
A wonderful tool. It can be used to cut corners, but it can be used to enhance the emotion of something or enhance the tension of something. Great stand-up comedians are very musical. Like George Carlin was so rhythmic and iambic, in a lot of the things he did.
Yes.
So
even the music of how we're talking right now, I'm very deliberate about that. What did I just do right now? Those are musical notes.
Yeah, of course.
I'm very deliberate about that right now. I don't want to make people notice that and be annoyed by that. But there is people that talk very monotone. Either that's your thing, Todd Barry or whatever. But even he sings quite a bit.
Does it?
Take a lap.
Yeah, of course.
I thought I didn't like tomatoes.
Of course.
Those are, you know what I mean? Because they're disgusting.
Yeah.
Turns out, you know what I mean? It's like,
of course.
Now we're up high. So I think that's another thing that might be threatening about music is that we are dumb. Mammals. People are dummies. And music cuts to us. It's a shortcut to inside of us. And it almost upsets us that we're like, how susceptible am I?
Yeah, and it is probably more of a challenge for someone to get them to a sad place if you're doing a sad bit with words.
Yes.
As opposed to I just play a few minor chords and you're already feeling that.
Yeah.
So that's a certain. But again, if I can then take the time that I save.
Yes.
By not doing that and fill that with more material, then I think I've made up the value, and I'm not cutting the corners. I'm actually using the shortcuts to give you more, and not to give you.
It's like you're using steroids, but you're playing pro baseball with them. You're not using steroids and throwing frisbee casually in the park.
Right.
You're doing something harder. I hope.
I think so. And for me, it's like like a lot of big influences of comedy, or even just like musicians have influenced my comedy. Not so much in their musical influence, because I don't think I'm smart musically enough to be influenced by great musicians, but people like the Beatles or Radiohead or all these people that I see like experimenting album to album and really challenging themselves. And I don't think there's enough of that in stand-up. And stand-up really seems to be about finding your niche and perfecting a voice and then existing within that, which can be really... It's a wonderful thing for a certain group of comedians to do, or for a pocket of comedians to do, is to carve this thing out.
But you're saying, if I'm hearing you, it would be exciting if there were comedians that were kind of reinventing themselves with each album.
Yeah, and really... And I think just now with like the plethora of like an ease of technology happening, we can kind of break down a few and that's
because it's old. We're kind of running an old script. What's it starting with?
Well, it's starting with the internet. I mean, just the ability, internet is forcing the audiences to be a little bit more ADD, which is bad, but also calls for like more dense material. I think.
Interesting that you say that, because people used to be like, Family Guy is bad for comedy, and I'm like, oh no, it's good. It's juicing us all up. I think there's still place for slow burn stuff.
Yeah, of course.
But the fact that there's a whole generation of kids growing, I sound old, growing up with Family Guy, and they want a cutaway, and they want a joke, and they want 10 jokes. I think that's good. It's making us all like we have that to pack more jokes in.
Yeah, it's same with Twitter. It's like forcing people to like be a little bit like terse, cut to the chase, and be like, but
that's really
I don't know. There's so many. The rules of comedy are like stand on a stage, and be funny. Those are the two rules, and millions of other rules that are added about it are very, very silly. And I think a lot of them are hitched on a hierarchy that I think is dying, this sort of club 2-drink minimum sort of thing. I don't think the generation growing up right now is going to have patience for that.
Yeah. They don't.
And I also think, like, I'm coming from sort of just recently have sort of had this very have been resenting comedy for it being a bit of a boys' club, and I think sort of being inherently very, very sexist. And
you mean towards the female comedian?
Towards the female.
The material.
Towards no. Towards the idea of what it is. Like the idea of being a woman or being feminine is very unfunny. Is the least funny thing you can be.
Interesting.
Being a woman.
So you're trying to kick out some corners here. You'd like to be reinventing your own comedy. And are you talking, I guess I'm a dummy, are you talking about the way you're talking about femininity and women, or are you talking about women that are on stage?
Well, I mean, it affects women that are on stage or women in the crowd, but I think, like, the spectrum of what comedy is right now is a very masculine version of it, which is very funny and very good, but I think the spectrum is much wider when you see real good female comedians that are, like, being feminine or using a different cadence. Right. You see the comedy is much wider than that. So I've been trying to, like, on stage just, like, talk about, I don't know, sucking dick or trying to be really feminine on stage because...
You know what's weird? You're one of those straight men that we hear about.
Yeah.
I just want to get that out of the way before I have this conversation with you. Because I'm also one of those straight men that you hear about. But I am somewhat feminine.
Yeah, I feel like I'm very, very feminine, and I try deliberately to be more feminine on stage.
You know what?
I never answer the question whether I'm gay or not because I feel like what I could do, like I don't want to go up on stage just because I'm not this type of comedian. I don't want to go on stage and be like, can you believe they don't let gays marry? Well, for me and my act, it just doesn't work for what I think my perspective is. So what I think I'll do is I'll be pretty openly. Anything like I could, I put myself out there as I could be gay, I could be straight, and I don't answer the question.
You're a vessel for the comedy.
Yeah, and I think
whatever
I think a little gay kid sitting in the crowd looking at me saying, "Well, he's making references that he could be gay, and he's not immediately going, I'm not." And I think that's like the little thing I could do to maybe.
I think that's a new thing. I've been talking. Okay, many things you just said were very interesting to me. The first is that you turn up. Your everybody has masculine and feminine. Mm-hmm. Everybody has that. And there's something funny to me and vulnerable and kind of special about maybe at least encouraging or increasing your feminine side as a male.
Yeah.
I have a lot of material about that, and I like it. I find that tension to be pleasant.
And I don't do it in a way of being like like work it where I'm like a guy.
No. It's like,
real. I really like enjoy speaking from that perspective, or like taking. I feel like it's an honest part of me.
It is an honest.
And when I dig in it, I always feel like I'm kind of in a new area if I'm being a little bit feminine, or I don't know if it's feminine or feminine or whatever it is. But I was a theater kid growing up,
Yeah,
and that's. It's just something I don't see.
But I don't think men are given the social cues as much. They're not given the social green lights to explore a feminine side, especially from a powerful, quote-unquote, place as being the entertainer of the evening.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a freedom to explore that as much as women are told. It's not like women have a freedom to explore their masculinity as much as I feel like women are told, if you want to be successful, be masculine. And men are told, why the fuck would you explore your femininity? All it does is show you as weak and show you as...
Yeah.
It's well, it goes back to a lot of things. I mean, young girls are told, be hot and you'll get a good guy. Mm-hmm. Men are told you can be fat, you can be ugly. Look at every sitcom. You can be if you're funny, you will get a girl. If you're funny, you can make up all that ground. And women are told that that's not true.
Right, confident, funny, and intelligent.
Women say that. What's the first thing you like about? They'll say sense of humor. What does a guy say that? The guy never says that. It means nothing. It's threatening to them because it shows that they're. Comedy comes from a place in their like evolution which shows a good command of language. And men are petty because they have small dicks and they're threatened by that.
Yeah,
and it's really
so they want to make a woman wet with their mouth dick.
Yeah.
I like.
Yeah, it just gross. It just grows.
The show is the best.
I think it's such a fun. I just recently have gotten very angry at it for being a boys' club. In some ways, it's fucking. I love masculine comics. I love Louis C.K. I love Bill Burr.
I was just gonna say Bill is. I love that. Those are two of my favorites.
Incredible. But to define and they, you know what? And they are the highest functioning comedians right now. Mm-hmm. But to define stand-up comedy as their perspective is ridiculous.
Right.
That's like defining music as as Mozart,
right?
Like, it's
right.
They are the highest function of that area of what comedy is, but that's not what comedy is. I mean, like, there's a great comedian in Ireland, Maeve Higgins, who's this woman who's like very gentle, and she. I remember hearing her just blowing my mind. I've never heard this cadence or this way of storytelling before. Maria Bamford's Maria Bamford is like more, non-human than she is even a woman. She's just so mind-blowing that I can't.
She's not a man or a woman. I love Maria Bamford.
But even that, I think, it comes from us. I don't know.
It's interesting, though. I think it might,
because I feel the same way. I feel like a little fucking girl sometimes. That's why when I'm with guys in a comedy club setting, I feel I feel ostracized in that sort of same way that I did in high school around the football team or something.
That's beautiful. That goes into one of those that goes back to that feeling that I would have when I would go and hang out at the Cellar. I was like, I would more equate it to like, I feel like a little boy. I feel like a baby. And there are these men and their dicks are on the table, and I'd just be like, I got to get the fuck out of here. I just didn't feel connected to that group as well. Yeah. I wonder if femininity or enhancing it, or not enhancing it, but not shying away from it as a performer is a shortcut to vulnerability. Louis is vulnerable. Bill is definitely vulnerable too, but there's something about, like, I was talking to Mulaney about it. It's like he and I get the question, are you gay, maybe more than other. I don't know. I can't say for other people. I don't think too many people think Louis is gay or thought. I don't want to speak for other people, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course.
There's something about it. Even my voice, it's just a little bit kind of like, what is that? This is such an uncomfortable thing for me to talk about because I don't want to offend any of the gay listeners or whatever, but there's something here that's interesting. I want to find the right way to talk about it.
Yeah, of course. Well, I had a real problem with that. Like, I've been thought to be gay for a long time, and but the silence you hear in that question if someone shouts it during a show, are you gay? And the silence you hear in the crowd and the holding of the breath is kind of, is hinting at a higher homophobia of like, well, if someone asked me, like, do you like tomatoes? I wouldn't be like, no. I'd be like, no, I don't like tomatoes. Like, no, I don't. I'm not offended by you. If you think I'm gay, that's a lovely thing. I don't mind if you think that. But most of the homophobia towards, I always trace it back to, I was in the 7th grade musical Honk, and I played a turkey. And there's a rumor going around at the time that I was gay. Everyone had said that I was gay, and I'd heard it boiling around. And I was so sick. I was so sick for the feeling, not because I hated gay people, but the idea was that it was, I could feel that it was a thing to laugh at, that being gay was something that made, the idea of that was something that made me nervous and maybe uncomfortable. Yeah. I remember, I'm dressed as a turkey on the side of the stage. This is how I always remember myself when I try to look back at,
you're
like,
a turkey in the wings.
Where, boom. This is what I always try to remember when I, like, think about where homophobia comes from. For a lot of reasons. I was in the wings waiting, and I heard two kids. I'm in the wings as a turkey. I hear two kids talking, saying that I'm gay or something. That ask him.
Yeah.
And a kid came up to me. A girl came up to me, tapped me on the shoulder, and said, "Bo, are you gay? I heard you're gay. Are you gay?"
Yeah.
And I, through like welled up tears, turned to her and said, "I'm as angry as I've ever said this." Crazy to remember. I turned to her and I said, "I'm not a fucking faggot." And then I walked on stage and sang a song about a turkey. As a turkey. God. But I remember I was so angry. I've never used that word like that. Sure. And it was in that moment of just being so scared of being the thing that people laughed at.
Yeah, you got two kids laughing at you.
But the image of me, as a turkey. And then I go out and sing my turkey song.
That is so fucking great.
But now it's like a moment. Now I almost like when people think, like, I want to. Well, kids are fucking killing themselves, so I'll go out and suck. There's like multiple moments on stage right now where I like fillet the microphone or like talk about sucking dick, or I have jokes about like getting fucked in the ass by like my girlfriend's strap on or whatever.
Right.
And because I really want to be, I just like to put myself out as this weird like you. And that's another thing, is like the perspective of like women. Aren't women are such idiots. Women are such, like, Jim Jeffries can, like, articulate sexism in this incredibly magnetic and awesome way, and I think it's a perfect expression of art sometimes where he says that, like, because it's, like, beautiful and it's also really sensitive, but, and I just don't want that to go away. I don't want the part of comedy that is a little misogynistic, because that's exciting and that's interesting, and we're starting a dialogue, and it's really incredible to hear these ideas that maybe I'm not agreeing with articulated by brilliant minds.
Right.
Just the other side isn't there, and there's a fucking argument for it.
Yeah.
There's an argument for why men are why men have raped and killed and murdered and started every war. Why? But women couldn't. I don't know. I can't think of a woman or a female comedian that can get up and do that. I mean, what does the female George Carlin have to say? What is that are out there? I do believe they're out there. I don't think that... but there is a belief. I know there's a belief held by many comedians that women are not funny. They're just...
I think we're talking about two things. I think two things are going away. One is that women aren't funny.
Yeah. Do you really think that?
As slowly as being gay isn't weird. Okay, I was just in San Diego. Actually, a funny moment while I was in San Diego. I was driving to my club that was
being gay isn't weird. That's a great slogan. That's better than it gets better. Being gay isn't weird.
And there's a turkey. It's you as a turkey.
It's okay if you're a faggot from the turkey.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I was driving to San Diego to do my club in a mall.
Yeah.
It was near a Steak Escape, which I joked, shouldn't that be a vegetarian restaurant? Hey,
never again. Never say it again.
Escape. There's no escape from the steak. I did this on stage to zero. And then I was like, don't act like you're not going to do it. Still zero. No, the shows were great. I actually drove past the theater where you're performing. So you're actually going to be in San Diego.
Yeah.
Which is interesting to me.
Yeah, the Balboa Theater in July. The Balboa Theater.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, plug it. What's the date?
I don't know. July 13th?
July something. July. One of those Julys.
One of the July days.
But anyway, I went and, okay, so women aren't funny. That is going away. And gay isn't weird. I think that's going away as well. And when I was in San Diego, I was doing this joke, and, I'll gauge the crowd on different things. And I have this thing about how I like to stand like a teapot or a pregnant woman.
Yeah.
Which is an effeminate way to stand. And the joke ends with, people say that makes me look gay. Small-minded people say that makes me look gay. I'm not. I like vaginal intercourse and standing like this.
Yeah.
Then I pause as long as I can, and then I go, about the same. So you laugh.
Yeah.
You laugh. Of course, right? It's a social experiment in that moment to watch the guys on dates not laugh. And the bit has now become me going to those guys going, you blew it. You missed an opportunity to look comfortable in your sexuality. You should have laughed. Like, haha, surely he jests. No one likes a means of standing as much as sex. But instead you vote against being gay by kind of like not laughing. Or maybe it's not funny. I happen to think it's very funny. But I think people in that moment are conflicted. They're with a girl that they like to put their penis in. And then they go, I like sex more than any way of standing. And then they don't laugh. Which I think that... I more and more, if I do that joke and it works, you do that in San Francisco, everybody gets it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so close. But anyway, I'm doing a lot of stuff about sexuality, and a lot of it is kind of in this new let's be a straight guy and talk about gay things comfortably, because I think there's a nice message to that.
Yeah, and again, to not I don't like even asserting I'm straight. There's like a joke. I'm just trying to get weird.
I know. I think you're actually weird. Cooler, because in that bit I was like, "Oh, I do say I'm straight."
No, but that's not a problem. I mean, the comfort is. I'm just trying to. I really want to. My engaging of it is just more to be. What I did with my this last hour that I did was called Words, and I had tried to put.
Is that
on
the one
this,
with the words behind you?
Yeah,
it's a great special.
That's right.
Oh, loved it.
I tried to do like. I took on this new persona because before I was this little kid, like singing and winking when I was singing dirty songs. And I was like, I want to take it, and I worshipped like Steve Martin and Zach Galifianakis. So I tried to put on this sort of Zach Galifianakis-esque persona of being distant and trying not to care and try to look arrogant on stage. So that was an interesting backdrop to put all the material against. And then I had heard from people said like, oh, you're so like, are you trying to be sexy? Or are you like trying to get laid up there? Because you come off like Edward Cullen, like brooding. And I thought I was coming off cool and distant and crazy. I was trying to be like nihilistic and crazy. And I was coming off brooding and trying to looking like I was trying to be sexy, which is the last thing I wanted to do. So now I'm trying to like explicitly state really unsexy, weird things because I want it to be. So, like, so my gay jokes are things like, there's one like, something like women don't I practice safe sex and women don't get it. Like they don't get that I practice safe sex. They say the same thing. They're like, why do you have to wear a condom if I'm fucking you with a strap on?
Right.
To be safe, like to be. And it's always this thing of like
the coveted Katie laugh.
Yeah.
Rare.
It's always to be safe.
I'm teasing.
And then it's I don't know where that thing's been. Yes, I do, in my shoebox in my closet. And but it's funny. It's cool. Those kind of jokes. And there's other joke where I'm like, don't you hate it? Like I go like, fellas, and all the and I'd say it until the fellas go, woo, woo. And I go, don't you hate it when you're like sucking on a beautiful cock and you open your eyes and there's a fucking faggot on the end of it?
Yes, I've heard you do that.
It's cool to hear those specific jokes. Why I'm so interested in those is because I hear that sex is laughing differently.
Yeah.
I hear the guys going, oh,
yeah.
Oh, and I hear the girls kind of
there's
like,
a lot of information.
Hey, no matter what's happening, there's someone on stage is talking about getting fucked. I haven't heard, you know what I mean? It's like, no matter who he is.
Right.
And it's really interesting to me. It's like, I've always loved stand-up as this sort of thing of learning about people.
Right.
Like learning about the audience and how they react.
You say that because I often, I just said this, I was like, if I have a skill, let's go with the assumption that I have a skill. It's reading a crowd. It's reading the information of a laugh. And I think that's what you're doing in that time. You're doing this little experiment. You do this joke. There's definitely some active ingredients in that joke. There's a shock level, there's the humor, but then there's also some politics to it.
Yeah.
There's like a belief system to that joke. Of course. And it's challenging. It's designed to put you on the back of your feet, and then you listen to the results.
And like, if you're going to be able to like travel around and do this, like, why not have the most thorough test?
Yeah.
The one that like, and to back up to the thing about comfortability with gay material,
gay weird.
I would actually say Louis is like a huge pioneer of that, because he actually really helped me to explore that. When he's talking about like sucking Ewan McGregor's dick, like this beautiful man is so beautiful that I'd let him fuck me. He did a lot of that stuff that was just so awesome.
Right.
Or he really pioneered like reusing the word faggot and totally taking the anger out of it to make it ironic, of talking about like people acting like faggots but it not meaning gay, and talking about like, can you guys stop being faggots and just have sex with each other? He's talking about, he like totally takes the air out of that word.
Chris Rock did that too.
And it's like, so I would say he was a huge influence to me on that, and re-engaging those things. Yeah. It's really great though. It's it's what comedy should be. I just wish, I don't know.
You're wishing for the Lady Carlin.
Yeah,
is that where that was going?
Just girls, just fucking girls. And you know what? I will admit, if the sexist argument within me, I may say naturally, just because of evolution, I would say I don't think it's 50-50. I think probably, I'm not saying that they're not equally capable, but I would think if it all squared out, maybe 60% would still be men, because just like there's a part of us is like these, just are, and like maybe literally our anatomy is funnier. Like there's a certain thing that like, dicks are just inherently goofy and weird.
I was just talking about,
it's not 95.5 or 98.2%, whatever it is now.
Yeah,
we're not
95.5. You're right.
Not even close.
And a lot of the stronger ones or more popular ones are lesbians.
Yeah, or have to take on certain masculine. Yeah, or it's coming from a masculine place. But again, it's still always so. I don't know. It's a really touchy subject.
It is,
and like it's a really hard thing. And like,
but
I had worshipped Christopher Hitchens, and then he had that fucking terrible article in Vanity Fair about how women aren't funny. And
oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, he did this whole thing of, I don't know. It's a hard one. And then I've heard like on Opie and Anthony or something, like Norm Macdonald just outright say, like, I don't think women are funny. Like, you go to the schoolyard and you hear a bunch of people laughing and you turn around, who it is? Who do you think it's going to be? It's going to be some fucking broad. No, it's a guy. It's always a guy. But I just think that's more the system and less inherent. I think that's more what our society calls for women to be from a very young age, and what they're taught to value in themselves. And if we taught them to, and we showed them that you can be yourself and be funny.
What if you turned when it's bizarre? This is a thick topic.
Yeah.
What if you turned on the schoolyard? This is so uncomfortable for me to say. What if it was like an overweight little girl, or like a non-traditional looking girl? Because some of those girls develop.
Yeah.
God, I'm so sorry. I don't want to. I don't want to put anybody in the corner or paint with too broad of strokes. But as I was a doughy, weird-looking kid, that helped me become funnier. Yeah. Absolutely, because I was anxious and I wanted to win them over with wit. And a lot of the funnier girls that I'm thinking of in my life are not necessarily, model good looks.
And it's not even. and on the flip side, it's
that's
like
not true across the board, by the way.
But no. But attractive women,
a
lot of attractive women in comedy, from what I've heard from them, articulate the fact that their attractiveness is a huge problem. For audiences, that when they go on stage or something, that's a huge thing to get over. I mean, it's equal some for men too, like Nick Thune, like the handsome Nick Thune, I think is I think it's a bit of a problem of being like, what do you fucking know, you handsome asshole.
That's true, man. I don't know. I
mean, for women, it's just it's so much of what they do is.
I feel like the good-looking guy wins. I feel like Nick Thune goes on stage and people are like, "Let's listen to this man. He's got a jawbone."
Yeah.
I feel like a hot girl goes on stage, and unfortunately, a lot of people go, "Show us your tits." That's what's happening in their brains, and sometimes out loud.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. I just think I just think sexism sort of this has just been on my mind recently.
Sure,
that's why
please
I keep talking about it.
Get into it.
But I just think sexism is the last, or not the last, but a huge fight that's the hardest to have because it's so subtle, and I think it's not just men versus women. I think women have turned against themselves in some certain place, and I think comedy, just stand-up comedy, is such a interesting and I think ground zero battleground for it, because it's freedom of speech. You literally present it's like a fucking slave auction. You present this fucking person up on stage, and it's an immediate visceral reaction to them, and they just articulate their ideas. The middlemen are gone. It's just such a pure,
it's immediate.
Engagement
you just start bidding on this comedy,
and really, and it's and there's no so it's very, very interesting. I would hope to just I hope I can shove something in a little bit of a different direction.
Yeah, that's interesting. And
I don't know what I can do, but
here we just had Alison Rosen on the show, and we talked a little bit about this, not specifically about this, but we're talking about men and women. And I'm not going to restate all those things. I'd rather hear what you have to say about it. But talking about dicks, we got on that a little bit. Dicks are funny.
Yeah,
they're outward, and what we said to Alison, I was like, dicks do the fucking. That's why men being aggressive is somewhat more comfortable.
Yeah, and you know what? Now that I'm thinking of it, I also think women, there's a protective nature inherent in men that a lot of comedy comes from failure, from self-deprecation, from pain.
So you're saying the men want to protect the women?
Yeah, it's basically that thing that happened that everyone was up in arms about, that show The Talk. A man had his penis cut off or something and mutilated, and the girls were laughing about it. And they were saying, "Oh my God, this guy's dick got cut off by his ex-wife, or the balls thrown in the bushes," and they were all laughing, and and people were flipping out, going, "How dare you? What if a woman had her breasts removed, or had a man had mutilated a woman? That wouldn't be funny at all to anybody."
Right,
and that's true. And it's also kind of true that just there's that natural reaction that it's kind of funny for. And
I understand.
Back to the beginning of
that's the other side of this.
If this beautiful woman had fallen down the stairs, would it be as funny as Larry?
Right.
I don't. Maybe
and men are wired to fix women's problems. That's one of the ways we do bad listening. Is if a woman starts talking, a man will go, "How do I solve this problem?" That's why we're not traditionally good listeners. We don't want to emote and share. We want to solve. So if a woman gets on stage and she's like, I got my neighbor. It's like, do you want me to go talk to him?
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. It's I think it's a view of them as weak.
Yeah.
And so
but if a guy with a dick is on stage and he's complaining about his stupid problems, you're kind of like, this dick can't figure it out.
Yeah. Or man, good luck, man.
Let us know how it goes.
Yeah, I can't figure it out either. Man, these are sort of all of our problems. Whereas a woman gets up, it's like, oh no, these are woman problems. It's scary, man. It's scary.
Here's the other thing that we talked about. That was great with Dicks Do the Fucking. The other thing, and I was thinking about this since Allison and I talked about it, is the idea of pregnancy. Is the idea that it's built into women that they will, at some point, something could happen to them and they're out of commission for about a year. You know what I mean? I know you don't have to be off your feet for the whole 9 months, but I'm just saying there's no real male equivalent to this is going to happen to you, Bo. You're going to be filled with a baby. Your hormones are going to start giving you direct orders. You're going to lactate, and you're going to that's going to be the most important thing in the world to you.
Yeah.
A man, I think people are comfortable with him in that authoritative position. He blows beans up somebody, and then proceeds, oh, Jesus.
Oh, God.
And then he can continue. I know. I'm going to think about me saying that for a while.
Beans.
That he can continue hunting or being a CEO or being a comedian or whatever.
Of course. You know what? And this is this is getting back to the thing that I think...
But it's undeniable. Women, you become pregnant the most staunch...
All of this is undeniable.
Yeah.
I agree. But I think this is like the center of like... I think like humans moving forward in general.
Yes.
Like all of the huge step that we're going to have to do is like stop deifying our biology and like move away from it. That's like the transgender, all this thing is just revealing the... I think arbitrariness of our biology breaking down. That all these things are just arbitrary things that these group of primates, hairless primates, grew up to have. But you know what? We don't need fucking babies anymore. Honestly, we don't. We're fully populated. That part of the evolution is over. I think we need to like upload our minds to computer, become digital, and like explore the universe.
Singularity.
But so I think all of that stuff is a huge, and I think will be like the biggest hump for humans is to like stop giving a fuck about men and women are different.
Yeah.
You know, when they,
Well, isn't that interesting? Because in the limited way that we can upload our personalities, you made me think of like chat rooms where guys pose as girls and girls pose as guys all the time. So it's already kind of losing some of that, like, that doesn't really happen as much anymore. Are there chat rooms now?
Yeah, of course. But that's exciting. And that's exciting, and it's fun, and it's weird. But to like...
You're saying it's interesting.
But I feel like there's some people like holding the walls, you know, the little trash compactor Death Star walls apart, trying to be like, no, but they're still so... And like, why not embrace this sort of like incredible storm that's happening in the middle of them, of the sides sort of dissolving and, you know...
It freaks people out. Yeah. I think people are contradicting themselves all the time. That's certainly the theme of this show for me, is that I'm with you. I'm on one side of this coin. I'm like, fuck it all. We're all just people. Who gives a shit? Let's be comfortable with everything. We don't even need gender ideas or anything. And then on the other side, I feel like Don Draper, and I'm like, you look like a whore in that dress. Smoke a cigarette, drink some scotch, and tell my daughter she can't wear makeup.
Yeah, of course. Well, no, yeah. I think that's there's a certain... I don't know.
Is that idea, I'm having a hard time talking about this idea. I need you to talk a little bit more about letting go of all of it. Do you mean let's get into the singularity, let's evolve?
No, I don't know.
I'm move
just
past
saying, like,
being human?
If there's no victims to... I think that's just the question. Is like, is there a victim to this, you know? Is there a victim to whatever the behavior is? And if there's not a victim and it's making people more different than each other, then it's great. I mean, why not make the world a little more... different, a little more exciting, and a little bit more like complex. I just think like complexity is always more interesting to me.
Yeah,
and I just would like I don't know. It's just fucking like dudes. I don't know. I guess I've maybe just had a problem with masculinity like my whole life.
Yeah,
and that's probably where it's coming
from.
It's probably like the little kid.
Well,
the little kid that hit puberty late and like still can't grow a beard.
I can't grow a beard.
Maybe that's you can.
Yeah, no way.
So I think that it may just be coming from that.
Yeah,
but I'm also incredibly aggressive about these things. It's funny because the way I articulate this fucking thing,
right, which is kind of a male,
and it's thing. My father. I swear, like my father, of going like these fucking like my. My father used swears.
You really put your back into the
really,
fuck
yeah.
word.
So like, I feel that, but I don't know.
Well, you're from Massachusetts,
yeah,
and I'm from Massachusetts.
Maybe what I'm saying is maybe the reason women don't do comedy is because they're fucking better than us, and I'm like tasking them to do like the shitty male thing of getting up and being like, "Aren't I funny and fuckable?"
Right.
So maybe like
that
maybe I'm trying to drag them down, and maybe they're just like.
Maybe they do have it. Somebody,
but not really. It's a beautiful way to express. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off.
Man, that's the show. Get into
it.
But
it's like, but I just think it's this beautiful way to express yourself, and a beautiful way to hear, for people to hear in this just world of just like filters and notes and rewrites, to hear a human on stage unfiltered and talking and like
unpasteurized.
We need to like desperately, rather than have this fucking rubric that makes it. Louis C.K. is like undoubtedly the greatest, most well-respected comic around. I mean, like I can't remember a time because I feel like there were so many other icons at certain other times of Carlin,
and now it's
Louis.
Guy.
It's like Louis at the top of the thing, which is so great.
We're in a monarchy.
I believe he is I do believe he's the best functioning comic. I just hope. It's not. I just hope that his form isn't the definition. I don't want. I don't think it's the. He isn't the definition of comedy. He is the epitome of his. He is the definition of comedy in that he is most honestly serving himself.
Yeah.
Not that he's most honestly serving this realistic, sort of cynical, kind of loving dude.
Right.
That's just him.
Right.
But.
Well, that's what they said about Bill Hicks too. Dwight Slade had a great quote in the Bill Hicks movie where it was like. it's a lot of people make the mistake of trying to be like Bill Hicks, and it's like that's not what Bill Hicks did. Bill Hicks figured out the best way to be himself. And that's what we should be
well, that's
copying.
Perfect.
That's what we should be doing.
That's perfect.
It's one of the last parts of the thing. And I think that's what you're saying about Louis.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Louis just went inside and figured out this is me, and maybe you're saying this is me, and I have a guitar, or this is me, and I'm doing a fake machismo thing, or this is me, and whatever you want to do. I was going to ruin one of your bits, one of your favorite with the glitter. I love it. I don't want to ruin it. You know what's funny about you?
What?
The reason I brought up Massachusetts is because, for better or worse, I do feel like Massachusetts is a bit of a tough guy town.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah, and that's what I had a hard time with. That joke about standing like a pregnant woman, standing like a teapot, was in Little League. I was standing on the field, and I was standing that way because if you ask your body how it wants to stand, that's the way. While you're watching a boring-ass fucking baseball game, hand to hip like a woman. And my coach goes, don't stand that way. And I go, why? And he says, guys, that's not for guys. Guys don't stand that way. And I'm not saying that only happened in Massachusetts, but there is a little bit more. It's the winters. There's something like awesome, I want to say awesome because I don't want to upset anybody, but there's like this like working class, Irish, tough, men being men. My dad's one of these guys. My dad's never stood that way in his life. My dad's like a fucking guy. He comes home covered in oil. You know what I mean? He's a guy. His hands are the size of this table. He's a giant. But anyway, they're not feeling comfortable with that growing up in my high school, in my a little bit in my grade school, just being like,
and you would have been comfortable with it if it hadn't felt so exclusive or non-inclusive,
Yes.
Like, it's not, I don't have a problem with that. Like, my father's a masculine dude, but like, when I did the Winter's Tale, this little Shakespeare 3.5-hour play, like, he came like 3 times. It was this wonderful thing where he's very, and I love, there's part of me that's very sweet. Masculine, and I like that. I don't want that to go away.
Right.
Again, I just want, it to be a little more inclusive of the spectrum.
Duncan Trussell was telling me about some, it's not satanic, but if you saw it, you would think it was satanic. Yeah. And I'm sorry for forgetting what it was, but it's this goat-headed thing with a man's body, and he has a dick and a vagina. I like that I use the dick and then vagina.
Yeah.
Not a dick and a pussy.
Yeah, he's got a cock and a vulva.
Yes. And I was talking to Duncan about that on one of our weird, trussels, as I call them. That's not true. But yeah, I was on a little trussel journey, and he was like, that's because that's the power. He, like, this understanding of masculine and feminine together is where it's at. Duncan was on a weird tip where he's like, look, we're losing a lot of our masculinity. He's like, we should, like, box and, like, fucking whatever, drive quickly. I don't even know what men are doing. Yeah. But also have the vagina. That's why this, like, demonic-looking guy is supposedly so powerful, because he has both. Yeah, and that was weird. Everybody in our culture, I think, would be like, well, a vagina is a weak thing. It's a yielding thing.
Well, maybe. Well, and then also there's like a skewed version sometimes of what masculinity or femininity is. Like, I don't think femininity is attention to detail on your clothes, or like, I don't think like metrosexual being this androgynous thing. Like, no, I think you're just vain because you like the way you look. I think like what feminine is being empathetic and patient, and being able to multitask and being incredibly like enduring yet thankless, being so my mother's a hospice nurse. She is works in a house that just is a hospice house that like with all women nurses that are like little frumpy Boston women that like I come in and they're like, oh, Bo, you're out in Hollywood, like oh, you gotta tell us already, like and then they're doing the most insanely terrifying, like, I mean, they're like soldiers, and I think it's like the most embodiment of what a
woman can be.
What a woman is. I even think what the strengths and incredible.
Well,
it's like the same thing of embracing. It's like this beautiful thing where it's not running away from what maybe women are defined as, but it's still showing them to be so powerful, and that what makes women at times isn't weak, so they're protecting, they're caring for these people, but it's in the most incredibly fearless, it's a terrifying way. But like Mama Bear, like with like a fucking AK on her back, like taking care of like dying, like admitting 30 people every week and seeing all of them die. And then I mean, it's like
Jesus.
Yeah, it's more badass than any fucking dude.
Right.
Well,
that isn't that one of the theories that men are envious of women. We all know that we came here through women. You know what I mean? And men, as Greg Fitzsimmons put on the show, we're just the part of the shuttle that falls off. Like we just put babies in them, and then we're discarded.
Yeah,
like we're simultaneously these guys, and we sure do a lot of work to assert authority and power, but really we all came out of the vagina elevator. And we couldn't be here without one. You know what I mean? Like if it was all dudes. What was that movie, Children of Men? Oh, that wasn't all dudes, but
they were all barren.
We need women. Women are the door that we came out of.
Yeah, but of course, women need men. It's our, it's like they also need. I mean, it's a bit of it's a little pathetic, like body wise, that like our body makes jizz and theirs makes people. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's something obviously incredibly way more impressive about that.
I was talking about my dick on stage the other day, and it was a life bit. It was something I had said in life, and I was like, I got a glimpse of myself in the mirror, and I had an erection. It was post sex. I'm not just looking at myself. You know what I mean?
You had an erection post sex?
Yeah, it stays up for a while.
Good for you, man.
What do you mean? You falling down right away?
No, I'm
not
still
falling it down.
No, my pussy's still wet after sex.
There it is. Well, if I want to be like Bo Burnham, I'll go. And he still had his erection. See?
Yeah.
Well, we're doing it now.
We got it.
Oh, my God, you're so right, man. There is that voice in me that wants to go, it was a girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's weakness. It's weakness.
Well, I want to do that too, and it's not weakness necessarily, but like...
I think it is. It's pathetic.
Well, the real thing is... you cannot get offended when someone asks you that. If someone asks, there was that part of me, and I finally think I've beat it out, NPT, NPI.
Wait, what's NPI?
No pun intended. And when people say, like, are you gay? Are you gay? And I've really worked at being like, no, like, that's not.
Right.
I'm really trying to feel that is not an offensive question.
Right.
And when I feel people ask that, and I feel everyone go tense, it's like, what is that that's making us tense right now?
Right.
If someone had asked, is your family from Sweden? Do you... like hot dogs.
Right.
It wouldn't have made everyone feel so weird, but it's like a thing of, no, this is an insult.
See, that's what
this is an insult thing that you're thinking that I'm gay is a bad thing. Me projecting femininity is or whatever. I just want to clarify. I don't think femininity is gay.
Right. We actually just said it on the show.
That's a terrible, not true at all.
I forget whose bit it was, and I wish I knew, but I said to Adam Carolla, I was like, there's nothing more manly than fucking another guy. It's somebody else's bit. This isn't my bit. I just don't know whose it is. And it was like, oh, you fuck a girl? Oh, that's so tough. But like, you fuck a man?
Yeah, you fuck a dude.
Who earlier in the day fixed a car, and you fucked him? You know what I mean? You overtook him.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Dick giving orders, but then you made me think of so many other things.
About getting gay as a...
Oh, yeah.
But clarifying that you're not...
I've been doing this bit on stage, and I know it's come up a lot in the show, but I wrote it with Dave Holmes on the show. We were talking about it. I always think it's interesting that guys won't consider... I do this on stage. I'm like, would you give a guy a blowjob for $10 million? And that is also one of those questions that guys are like, have to posture. Instead, you know what I think the correct response is questions. You go like, do I know the guy? That's the right response.
Yeah, is he clean?
Is he clean? Do I swallow? How long is it going to take? Is there a time limit?
I think, I'll go and say, I think I would blow a dude, blow a disembodied dick before I would, make out with a dude for a long time.
Well, I think that's that prostitution sort of, that's not how you're wired necessarily.
Yeah, it's way more intimate. Like, the making out with a dude seems way more intimate.
Yeah. Here's one that's fun that I was recently playing with some friends. I was like, you can either never have sex again.
It's an alive dick. It's not a it's not a
no, I understand.
A chopped off dead
I understand
because that's gross.
No, fine. That's I'm with you. I didn't have any questions. I knew it was a living dick. Right. When it's presented to you, it's flaccid. Then you do a little bit of work and off you go.
Well, I was hoping to be a little more flattered than that. I think it'd be ready to go.
Okay, ready to go.
I was hoping.
Okay, well,
I mean,
we'll see.
I bought it dinner.
Yeah, but it's just a dick. It can't see you. There's no talk. It has no ears. Well, okay. You're trying to feed it into the urethra.
I'm more romantic than this, I think. Anyway, what's the fun one?
The fun one is I like to do things with people where it's like you can either not have sex again or that's the setup.
Okay,
I'll do you a couple. You can either never have sex again.
Take it. Take it.
That's what you're taking?
Yeah.
Or
it's good to be here.
Yeah. Or you have to have sex 5 times a day. Well, you're a young man.
Forever? Have sex 5 times a day
Well,
forever?
see, these are good questions. Sex would constitute, it has to go in a major hole to climax. You have to come.
I mean, yeah. Whatever.
5 times?
Or none. It's not real. I don't care. I'm not invested.
What do you mean?
It's not a real thing.
Yeah, you can't just back away from the game.
I'm always so bad at these games because I'm like,
okay, you're right. Let me give you
because I'm thinking like, so what's happening if I only get to 4? Am I dying?
I understand.
How is this scheduling?
If you only get to 4, then you just can't have sex ever again.
Oh, then obviously take the 5, and then
but that one lazy day where you just
then I just go back to A.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, if I die, I know.
Yeah.
If it's Eddie Murphy's 1,000 Words, which I saw in theaters, where like you die if you don't do it, I'd probably.
It's a hard one.
5 is a great number.
I know because everyone would do 3. That's the thing.
Everyone would do 3 and no one would do 10.
God, no one would do 10. It's so shaped, so raw. Your poor little dick getting wedged in there.
Oh my God.
You're just like, why are you doing this? What are you, Henry VIII?
I'd probably none. I guess I'd probably take none.
You know what? You don't even have to answer, but it's an interesting pickle. The other one that I think is more interesting for our conversation is never have sex again. Mm-hmm. Or you can have as much sex as you want, and this is for a straight man. You can have as much sex as you want, but once a month you need to have sex with a man.
Once a month, what kind of sex with a man?
It doesn't have to be makey outy. Your penis just has to. You're gonna have to.
But I get to be a top.
You're a top.
Do I get to pick the man?
Yep.
Do I get to pick like a nubile, hairless?
Yeah.
Twink with a wig?
No problem.
Once a month.
Once a month. Oh, and the stipulation is you can't tell anyone why you fuck a dude once a month.
What do you mean?
You can't be like, I'm not gay. I do this because a genie said I have to, or I can't ever have sex again.
This genie had a podcast, and
it's a tough one. You don't have to answer. What I'm saying is, it's ridiculous to not even think about it.
Yeah, of course I have to.
Okay, then I don't want. It's not called you made it uncomfortable. I just want you.
No. But it's like it's stakeless if you have to be like, oh, okay. But you just don't want to get the no way. I would totally not have sex.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's a weird one. Sexuality is weird. I've never really gotten an answer.
But then again, I feel like I'm cheating. I feel like I'm cheating if I'm taking like a little hairless boy with a wig on. I think if it's a dude.
It's Al from Home Improvement.
Yeah,
and it's not actor. It's actually, in this reality, he really is Al from Home Improvement.
Is Al the assistant or the...
It's the assistant. He's a bit of a bear.
Can I glory hole the guy on the other side of the fence through the...
You sucking dick?
Yeah, through the guy in the fence in the Home Improvement. Who was that? Through the hole in the fence.
Wilson. You're gonna glory hole
Wilson.
And his dick has a little fishing cap on it, and you're like, let's get that out of the way. And then later you misquote what he said while he was coming. That's a pretty funny joke.
I'm just worried. I'm worried. Like no sex would drive
you pretty crazy.
Would drive you pretty crazy. But I don't know if like. If I'm getting fucked by a dude, there's no way. If I have to get fucked by a dude once a month, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no
it's
way.
a different thing. That's one of the reasons why I think homosexuality is so threatening to men, is that you fucking a guy it's pretty different, but it's in the same neighborhood as fucking a woman. It's fucking it's fucking a hole.
Well, what's interesting to me about gay guys,
and that freaks people out.
This is a question. I would talk to gay friends about this. About like getting fucked in the ass.
Yep.
Is that inherent to being gay, or should it? Because in theory, it should be equally distributed. That liking that sensation, which just seems to be like a natural sensation, should be almost equally distributed across everybody. I don't understand how there's like a. But I understand like emotionally, like as a gay man, emotionally wanting like. But I like wanting your partner, the person you love, to be inside of you.
Yes,
I understand
and
that.
That's what you have.
But I'm saying like gay men who like the feeling of getting butt fucked.
Right.
That seems like a thing that shouldn't be inherent to be like. I don't know how those.
Why is that a gay thing? Why don't straight guys also want the feeling?
But I think no, they do. I mean, like
some do.
You know, but I've always wondered that. But I think it's more of an emotional and maybe if all dudes tried it, they would pegging. That's what they call it.
Pegging?
Pegging, that's what I've heard.
What do you mean? What is
pegging? I think that's what straight dudes call it when like their girl fucks them. It's pegging.
Oh, really?
Yeah, pegging is pretty incredible, right? Pegging, P-double-G-I-N-G.
Pegging?
Well, with an E in there. Pegging.
I've never heard that.
And it's like the least sexy phrase, pegging.
Is that like Pinterest?
Oh, man. Well, this is the conversation. I mean, this is a good conversation.
Yeah, it's so anything that makes me uncomfortable, I think, is really good. And I am uncomfortable in this area. And this has come up on podcasts that I've done. I wonder to the extent to which you're raised or encouraged to be straight. What do you or gay or straight or whatever?
Well, that's the thing of being like, in ancient Greece, like,
that's
Socrates is fucking 13-year-old boys.
And it was considered manly to fuck another man. And it was considered like a separate thing. It was like, yeah, of course you mostly have sex with women or whatever, but then on Tuesdays, let's get oiled up and wrestle, and what goes in, goes in.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, of course.
I don't know the Greek for what goes in, goes in.
But that's not like a translation of a Greek phrase.
It was something like if the vase takes shape of your dick. I don't know, Greece.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if that would be better. I think that would probably make people more empathetic towards each other and a little more understanding of. But
I grew up very liberal. I went to a Quaker school in Cambridge, Massachusetts, where most of literally most of my teachers were gay. They would almost wrongly would hire a African American lesbian over a straight white man. I got to the point where it was like, could we have one straight white man just to fill out the image, just to get him represented,
just to get him on the front of the textbook.
He was our minority.
It's great,
but it's still people still I think find even if you're taught that it's good, I still think you're going to have those turkey moments.
Yeah,
because it's different or something.
Well, it's funny because it's like, and then it's like we're having this, I think, a decently subtle, nuanced conversation about this. Like pretty far down the rabbit hole, we're like debating what things are,
right?
And like and then it's crazy to like widen the gaze and see that the argument is 20 steps behind us right now, or whether it's fucking natural or what. Luckily, news. I don't know when this is airing, but like when we were recording this yesterday, North Carolina banned it. Banned same-sex marriage yesterday. North Carolina banned same-sex marriage.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, banned same-sex marriage. They passed Amendment 1.
Oh, no.
Banned it. And then today, Obama came out and endorsed it. He made a video saying, really incredible, saying like, which is really incredible. He talks about changing his mind, because he said, I've been thinking.
He loves change.
And he said, yeah, I hope. And he says like, I've like talked to close gay friends, and gay people work with me, and like Sasha Malia, like, as a generational thing, think it's no different. Their friends have two mothers and two fathers.
Right.
And like he said, I support gay marriage. I mean, it's pretty incredible to see like the president change his mind.
It's funny that you say that.
It's so important. It's almost better. It's well, not kind of better. We'd love it to have it for the last 4 years. But the idea that he can admit like I was wrong, and by meeting people and talking to people, I realized. But it's funny that it's like the fact that that's where the fucking argument is with some of these people.
Yeah,
I mean, like I'm trying to be like, so is like getting fucked in the ass inherently gay? Like, but like to be like, oh my god, like they're worried about it being natural, or like at a time where like the world's fucking overpopulated. We're worried about the fact that people can't procreate when like we're gonna run into a problem with there being too many fucking when there's millions of children that need to be adopted, and we're worried about the 2 people that can't make children that would love to take some.
Yeah,
it's so fucking. I mean, that just makes me, similar to the female thing, just makes me very, very angry.
Yeah, well, I grew up religious, and then, didn't we have a Gordon College connection?
Yeah,
we got to get...
I live in that town. I live in the town of
Wenham.
Gordon College. Hamilton.
Beverly. Hamilton. Let's merge into that perfectly here, but I'll first say that I used to think it was the mother of someone I dated when I went to Gordon, which is religious, and so she was really religious and just wanted kind of a cliche of a person.
Yeah.
And watched Fox News all day and lived in a very small town. Never met a gay person. Never met an openly gay person.
Yeah.
And was adamantly anti-gay marriage. And I was just like. It just takes like, why can't like one amazing gay couple break down their car, this terrible Lifetime movie where their car breaks down and she has to meet them and see that they're not these monsters that she's imagining that she wants to stop from their unholy union.
Yeah.
I know that's kind of cliche, but I used to think about that.
You wish that would happen.
I guess, but like really what disturbs me is people that like have never met a gay person making decisions for them.
Yeah, of course. I just, I like it posted something a little on Twitter about it yesterday, and I got responses. It's very interesting to see how the argument against it has evolved. People saying things like, you're asking the voters to be respectful of the gay lifestyle, but you're not being respectful of the fact that they have different views than you. And I'm like, yes, I'm not respectful of the fact that they're not respectful
Right.
The idea of respecting views is so ridiculous. I don't need to respect views. Why would you respect my views if I say that I believe that, unicorns are real or anything?
Or,
why do you respect
or that women
views?
should be punched in the face
or
whatever.
I don't respect any of those. I don't respect any of those views. I just think it's like I hope anger gets stirred up a little bit more. People say, "Oh, it's all about respect and multiculturalism. And everyone, you got to respect that people have different." No, well, kids are fucking killing themselves. Kids are killing themselves. Because of ideas like this. Ideas that start with, "Well, no, I know it's not. It's my belief that I don't care, but it's my belief that you shouldn't get married."
Right.
Well, little kids hearing that you don't think that they fucking kill themselves. You have blood in your hands. Every fucking ballot has blood in its hands. And I think there's this whole idea of, and this is from the left, I think that it's come, this left coping mechanism to, not go through the world angry is this acceptance and respect of other people's beliefs. I fucking hate that so much. I don't respect your belief. If your belief is hateful towards people, I don't respect it. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate that belief. I hate it with,
great. I think that's great.
It's
kind of badass.
Yeah. Well, it just, I don't know. I had a lot of, gay friends in high school and all those things that I saw very quickly, that very seed of an idea grow into like a kid, someone choking them or someone driving by and yelling faggot to them as they're walking down the street with their boyfriend.
Right.
And I don't think it's like a time to be like, let's sit across the aisle and, let's talk. I maybe it's just like the young, aggressive person in me, but I don't feel like being patient with them. I feel like being like, kids are dying. I don't give a shit what you think. This isn't a matter of put it up to the vote and let's see what the system does. It's like, no, the smart people in power need to sort of understand what's being said here. And I don't give a shit what a book says.
Right.
Whatever.
Well, that's great. What a great thing to say. That's a gift that I think you just gave us. The idea of growing up in Hamilton, Massachusetts, near my college.
It's incredible.
Unbelievable.
I know, it's pretty great, right?
You know people that went to Gordon College.
Yeah, I did. I mean, that's a school that says, homosexuality is a sin in the pamphlet and you can't masturbate.
Is that in there?
Yeah. You can't masturbate in the pamphlet.
I came all over that.
Well, you probably can masturbate, but I don't know what the views are now. It's fine. I mean,
well, I think I went back to Gordon to perform, and I think they're getting a little bit more progressive.
Good.
There's certain schools that are worse. When I was there, they would have like a lesbian priest or pastor or something come in and speak.
Really?
But people would storm out and slam the door. That happened a lot.
Well, yeah.
I would run into kids that were gay and they were so conflicted. One of my wonderful friends from Gordon College who was just he was gay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we all knew he was gay. But one of my regrets was that I didn't sit him down or whatever. Not that I didn't he didn't need to be sat down. Yeah. That I didn't create an environment that would have been okay for him to be like, hey, I'm gay.
Yeah, that's the thing. You never want to, that's the best thing you can do. If you suspect.
That's the Todd Glass thing.
Yeah.
It was like, just say something along the lines of like, that it would be okay. I can't do the play. But then I saw him recently. He came to see me at a show in Chicago and it was amazing. He was like, well, we all knew. I'm gay, obviously. Like, I'm gay. But we went to a school. I went to a school that was saying that my friend was wrong. And by the way, masturbation was wrong. So even straightness was wrong in a sense. So like I was made to feel bad about my own complete normal urge to come all over that pamphlet. I love pamphlets. Something about the staples in there. It just want to really just ejaculate. I'm gonna
pamphlet.
The rest of the dick bit, by the way, is I saw myself in the mirror with an erection, and I was like, "What? This is ridiculous." It looked ridiculous. It was me and this flesh spear jutting out from me, just like kind of looking kind of violent and like just kind of like no subtlety to it, just I'm a dick, and it gives me orders. It gives me direct orders. It can go shut down this part of the brain, we're taking over, and this joke of a human piece takes over me. It takes me over and takes a good amount of blood and then just wants me to do pretty weird things.
That's incredible.
And a vagina is so much more subtle. It's internal. What's going on? It's kind of like women. I'm not breaking any new ground here.
No. And you know what? There's like a terrible spin on that like Andrew Dice Clay put on it in this Madison Square Garden that I've heard echoed with other people. Who did I fucking hear do it? I'll say his name. Who did I hear do it? I think it was like Aries Spears or something, did a fucking thing of like, how can a guy look at another guy's hairy ass and say, I want to fuck that.
Right.
You know,
I actually think that's been quoted to me as people's argument, like, of why they're straight. It's like, that's me. I can't look at a guy's hairy ass.
No, and they use that.
I know,
like,
they're
how
quoting
the fuck can you be gay?
Yeah.
Which also the underlying thing is, how the fuck can you be like? And women want to do that. Not fucking but like women look at a guy and think
right.
And oh man,
I remember
that bit. So he did that whole thing about bisexuals. What do they do? Like get up in the morning and flip a coin to the side, you know?
Yeah.
And you know, no, it's. I mean, and that's the other thing. That's the other argument that like I'm trying to think. Like I don't know if I don't. I don't know now if I believe that there isn't a moral obligation in comedy. I think you can be, but you need to have some sense of irony. I think. I don't know if it's like what's funny is funny, because sometimes what appeals to people is they want to laugh at the misfortunate and like the. I don't know if that's another struggle I'm having. I don't want to make any blanket statements or assertions because these are things I'm trying to figure out.
Right.
I'm just trying to fix for myself.
Well, we don't have it figured out.
But you know, laughs can be terrible. I mean, you know that from like growing up. Like some of your worst moments were being laughed at.
Yeah.
You know, and I've looked and I had older bits when I wrote when I was 16 about like deaf people or making fun of deaf voices that would get big laughs, and like I've lost sleep at night thinking about like some poor deaf girl in middle school that heard someone quote. I'm sure I have a video online that has like 5 million hits of a song about Helen Keller being the perfect woman and like making fun of her voice for being deaf, and I like really like got myself sick to my stomach thinking of like I bet a poor deaf girl has heard that my lyrics quoted to her and felt shitty, and that makes me feel so terrible, and it goes everywhere, you know, and like
Steve Martin actually said that. First of all, I'm not trying to let you off the hook. I actually think that was pretty lovely of you, but Steve Martin said that when you're young, that's the time. That's when you make cancer jokes. That's when you make car crash jokes, because it hasn't happened to you yet. Then you get older and your friend gets cancer or whatever, and I want to say God forbid. I still have some of that religious superstition. I want to be like God forbid, because if I don't say that, someone's going to get cancer. But you know, and you don't make car crash jokes because you lose somebody in a car crash. So, and like you hadn't really. You're 16. Deaf is pretty funny when you're 16 and able-eared.
No,
you know what I mean? I'm not trying to give you a pass, but
no.
Most of us don't have a national stage. If I had a national stage when I was 16, goodbye career. In fact, that's why I'm glad I didn't. I came up in a time when I made videos and stuff, and the people that saw them were the people that were in them on the VHS tape that we made it on, and then we taped over it the next Saturday. You know what I mean? That shit's gone. You were uploading this stuff online.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to give you forgiveness. I'm not the judge or jury.
No.
But I'm just kind of like...
No, I get that. No, and you know, and I think I've done work in the meantime to, you know, counteract that.
Yeah.
And I don't not want to... back up. I do want to engage the sort of tragedy of the world, and to like, I don't want to lose that sort of fucked up thing in the sense that like, oh, we do kind of laugh at the sad and the tragic. I love like staring into the, like taking you to the darkest place and laughing there.
Yeah.
It's a certain feeling you can't explain and really is terrifying.
I'll tell you something that no one relates to, but I think you might relate to it. And this is going to be weird. I saw a little dog get hit by a car, okay? And I didn't even see it get hit by the car. I saw it cross the street, and it was the kind of purse dog that isn't bred for running. So I've never seen those things run. And across the street, I can feel, listen, I get it. I would never say this on stage, and I don't even expect you to laugh. But if we were off mic and I was able to communicate this to you in a certain way, I bet I could make you laugh about this. And I went to this party right after I saw it happen, and I looked like a lunatic because, again, I didn't see it die, and I love dogs. This is like me being like, please don't hate me. But what happened was, given my mood or whatever, something horrific, something gory, something terrible, something indefensibly bad made me... later, not when I saw it. When I saw it, I felt horrible. But then later being like, can you believe that we live in a world where I was sitting at a stoplight and I saw a little dog, one of the cutest things I've ever seen, run across the street. And then I didn't see him get hit by a car, but I saw people react. And then I was like, that fucking dog is dead now. Terrible. Believe me, my rational brain and my heart and my empathy are, I'm not a sociopath. But for some reason, I couldn't stop laughing. And then no one was laughing. And then I put it in check. But there's something in us that wants to... You keep making me think of Nick DiPaolo on Louis says they're playing cards. It's the episode Hannibal's in, and one of the guys is gay, and they have all these questions for their gay friends. Great episode. And Nick DiPaolo says, I just want you to know it's not religious and it's not even moral. I find what you do disgusting. Right? And it's like there's something about his perspective, which is wrong, like a dog getting hit by a car. Sometimes that is what you want to laugh at. It's some kind of closed-minded guy in that moment, in that show. I was glad that he was represented.
Yeah, you know, I don't know.
Even though I disagreed
don't know if
with
I
him.
saw that episode. I don't know if I saw that personally, but like that's fine. I don't even think that's a problem. Is to be disgusted by it. Like I'm disgusted when I see people eat raw tomatoes. I hate tomatoes. I think that's disgusting. I think, you know, like disgust is not a problem. I'm not, you are, if you're disgusted by the idea of gay sex, that's fine. I'm probably disgusted by the idea of a lot of heterosexual sex when I look at the people in the world, you know, but that's not a problem. It's just a matter of like, whether you hate them for it or judge them for it.
That's interesting.
I think just disgust is fine.
I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, disgust is fine. I mean, I'm disgusted by most sex outside of myself, and sometimes myself as well. But that's not I don't think disgust is an issue.
That's really interesting.
It's just a matter of
But I think it's funny when you hear Nick DiPaolo say, probably as a joke, but maybe not, saying what you do is disgusting to me. My liberal, loving side, the alarm goes off.
Well, right, because when you usually hear that, it's then followed by "get the fuck out of my store," "don't get out of my church,"
"you fucking weirdos,"
get out of clean your stuff out of your room, get out of our house.
I don't like you.
You know.
Yeah, he's just saying it's disgusting.
But it can be the point of like, oh, that's gross. Hey, good to meet you. But that's fine. I mean, we got to be open to what we feel about things.
I love tomatoes, by the way.
There was that
I eat them with my hand. I eat them like a hand fruit. Tomatoes.
There was that great joke about Louis C.K. of being like, and that's just the whole thing of talking about like, you know, a gay guy on a corner in New York with like a whistle and short shorts, and being like, "Hello, it's hot outside," and being like, "Not all gay people are like that."
Right.
I started laughing at him. Right. Not because he was gay, because he was goofy. And someone was like, "Don't laugh at him because he's gay." And it's like, no, I'm not laughing at him because he's gay. I'm laughing because he's silly, and we can't.
Yeah.
But people walking by being like, "Oh no, what am I supposed to do? Like go up to him and be like, 'Oh, hello, nice to meet you.'" No, he's like silly, and you can laugh at him. I mean, obviously butchered that.
Yeah.
But that's then that's the. But again, I don't think the thing to address right now is.
Let's talk about
the left. How the. When we're stepping over the line, let's get everyone on the right side and then figure out when we're going too far. But I mean, it's great. Louis' bit is a genius bit.
It's interesting to me, the idea of these things that are so dark that we need to laugh at them, like really, really bad jokes, offensive jokes, or offensive areas, taboo topics, the cleansing that occurs. That's what close friends do. At least that's what I do with my close friends. That area, that safe space where you can kind of make any joke, and it's all understood, like, I don't have to say I don't hate whatever. I don't hate dogs, but let me tell you this.
Yeah, well, I have I've tried to clean them out of my act, and I have one or two in my act right now, 2 lines where I'm like, this is indefensible. Mm-hmm. I will hurt some people in the crowd. There's certain people that this will bring back a memory and will hurt them. Mm-hmm. And the image is just too good for me. Like, it's this little images and like that I remember stumbling upon the line. Mm-hmm. It's specifically about something sort of whatever.
Are you going to do it?
No, I shouldn't, because it's in a song. I don't really want to over-explain it. But I remember stumbling on the line and going, "Oh fuck!" Immediately going, "Oh shit!" And calling up my friend and going, "Dude, I stumbled on this thing. I won't be able to not say it now that I have it in my head.
Yeah.
But it's this." And, so that's the thing.
But you felt an obligation. You were like...
Because I was like, for
it
me,
makes
it's
you
a really...
feel something.
It makes me feel something. It's like, it's a good... It's, again, that thing of that, like, fucked up image of, like, oh, it makes you go, like, oh, but it's something to hear. Yeah. It's going to hurt people, but I only have a couple of them, and I try to...
It's interesting, man.
But it's a part of, like, art. You know, that's a part of art. I think art should express life and not wrap itself up morally, necessarily. I know I just said that I feel like comedy should answer to itself morally, but I just mean it should be aware of itself morally if you want to stand behind it.
It's a contradiction, but we're filled with them. We're filled with contradictions. Yeah. I agreed with both of your points. I agreed that we should have a moral standard, and I'm also like, but we also should live in a place where we can say anything.
Of course. I got, in high school, like, we got taught this Japanese dance called Buto, which is a dance that...
I know Buto. I'm kidding.
It's like you cover yourself in, like, white powder, and it's like this very ugly dance sort of thing that was really... It's an incredible sort of like the greatest Buto dancer. Like I think just recently died, Kazuka Ono. Is that his name? He was like 102, and he was the greatest Buto dancer because he was so. But the point is, it was made in Japan. Like I think after. Like World War II, after the bombs had dropped, and the people were like, "Life is ugly and tragic and scary, and dance should reflect that." You know, dance shouldn't all just be beautiful and light because life isn't beautiful and light. So it's this weird, like, where they contort their bodies that's very uncomfortable to watch. It's like scary and gross and kind of uncomfortable. Whoa. And I've always like thought about that with comedy of, you know, like, well, I think comedy should kind of you know,
acting out all the corners of the room.
Basically. And when I was trying to be nihilistic on stage, I was doing this like, you know, arrogant dead-faced deadpan nihilism, and then it was actually like someone came out, Paul Provenza like came up to me one time and was like, I was this like comedy guy.
Yeah,
who, you know, feels like he does everything or like is around every corner in every comedy club.
Yeah.
He said that like you're
take a left at Provenza.
Yeah. He was saying, you know, you're trying to be nihilistic. You're trying to do a lot of things. I was telling him I was trying to do a lot of things, try to tell a lot of different jokes. And he said, you know, you're trying to be nihilistic, and you're trying to be you're like Zach Galifianakis or something, that kind of nihilism or whatever. And he said, but Bugs Bunny is also nihilistic, you know, that there's that I can try to embrace the light and the dark, and I don't have to just present cynicism. There's actually maybe there's a joy. That's something you do that's really, really interesting, is that like I think there's very few joyful comics, and that's something that you do. You bring an energy that like is not normally seen with comedy. Something that's like, I
appreciate that.
You know, that's very joyful and happy. And then at the end of the day, it's like it can be a little biting and hard hitting, but it's presented from with a certain just
silly, fun,
a certain but just it's coming from a certain area emotionally that isn't often presented in comedy.
I appreciate that very much.
Very dark and usually very dark and cynical and controlled. And this is like.
But it's fun to see both of that. You know what's funny is the only thing I wrote down in preparation for this interview was Bo, and then I wrote, "Seems like you hate the audience." Because the last time I saw you, now I understand what you're doing, and I don't think you hate the audience.
I don't.
You delight them, but there is this kind of thing you do with your face and your body language, and there's this sort of, you go over and bang at the piano for 2 seconds, and it's jarring, and you don't really care if they're keeping up. You demand that they keep up, and it's kind of, but there is that look on your face that's kind of like, I don't know what it is. It could look like you don't like the audience, or that you don't like comedy.
Well, that's probably...
It's almost like a guy who looks like he's been possessed by comedy, and that's how the demon plays around with you.
Well, kind of.
Makes you do your act.
Well, there's this like a huge influence of mine over like the last couple of years has been this Dutch comic. His name's Hans Teeuwen.
What is with you? And this is I'm very impressed with your global comedy knowledge.
Well, I've been able to like go over to some places and like it's a big. I like really love European and Australian comedy. It's a little more theatrical, like cabaret and all this stuff is sort of mixed into it. This dude Hans Teeuwen, HANSTWEUWEN, it's like really this demon of a comic that comes in this black suit and slicked back hair, and he's just so insane and uncomfortable. And
like the dance.
I guess it's sort of a little rebelling against like this. See, you do likability in this very magnetic, real, genuine way, rather than like going out like, "Hey guys, I'm one of you." You're like this instant best friend when you get on. It just has this sense.
I'd like to think that's an extension of who I was as a kid. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to get into
it seems like an extension of who you are. It seems you're, which is always more positive. You're bringing the audience to you rather than going out and reaching out and going like me. You're just very magnetic.
Right.
And then I just think I'm trying to.
What's this demon guy do?
He does insane things. He does like...
I mean, like in comparison to me, if I'm bringing the audience in and I'm like, hey, let's all be buddies, demon guy is coming out and making them uncomfortable.
Making them uncomfortable. And like, what I found with him, what I've tried to do is that like, the more you disorient people, the more you lead them on and then fuck with them, and then you think they have them, and then you cut them off. Rather than going, fuck you, I'm not going to listen to you, they're actually more desperate to cling on to the next thing. It's like it's like you're drowning. They're drowning. You keep pulling it away from them. They don't give up. They're actually. Then the next time you reach out and you think that they're so desperate to hold on. There's like this bit I do, sort of the beginning of my set. I think I may have done it where I like sort of knock the water off the. I walk and I just put down a water and I just falls off because that just happened during a show. And this big backing track comes on about I meant to knock the water over. I meant to knock the water over. And like in doing that at the beginning of the show, it sort of kind of establishes like you, and this is what more is what I'm.
And it's loud too. I bet you tell the tech play.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And for me, it's really like. What I want to, it's like you don't know what's real up
It's
here.
kind of like a haunted house, but people love haunted houses.
Yeah.
You're the comedy haunted house.
Yeah, and basically it's...
When I first saw you, I was like, here comes YouTube guy, and he's going to do some jokes, and he's going to be stilted, and you did a theater thing that I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing? In a great way. I was genuinely delighted, but also very surprised that it was exactly like you're saying. You're kind of... It's almost like a type of magic. You're like, look at this hand, and then you slap them with the other hand. Yeah, and then we keep coming back.
Yeah, well, it's
keep coming back like a bunch of dummies.
Yeah. Well,
he's going to start doing regular comedy now.
Yeah.
Again.
And that's for me, because, like, most of comedy seems to be, and it's done very well, but, like, no, this is just a guy. Hey, guys, I'm just a guy I might as well be up at a party.
Right.
And then they buy into that because they've seen it so much.
Yes.
And then I kind of want to, like, pull the curtain back a little and be like, no, I've actually written every word, and the things that you think are accidental aren't.
Well, that's what was interesting about your special with the words to the jokes. There are several times in the special where you can see the joke you're telling.
Yeah.
For those of you who haven't seen it in words, you have the script.
Yeah, this transcript of the show.
The transcript of the show is behind you.
On the panel.
So if you want to read ahead, you can.
Yeah.
And I did. But it's still that sort of... I was very impressed and also threatened by that move. You know what I mean? I was like, Bo, it's like, what are you doing, buddy? They think we're just fucking talking. Yeah. And sometimes we are. I like to improvise a lot.
But that's just my... it's only what specific, I think, to what I do. I think I'm not saying that everyone else isn't genuine. I'm making fun of the fact that you could be genuine and be lying, which is what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I think other people are being genuine, but I'm just going to pretend to be genuine, and then I don't know. I just want it to kind of confuse. I was always my biggest probably artistic influence is like my like theater teacher in high school was Brother Ron. He was like a Zavarian brother, and he was a really incredible teacher and just an incredible person. Mm-hmm. And he like taught me from a very young age that the most valuable thing I can do is on stage is take a risk. And I think that was just to help me grow up and to help all of us be comfortable with ourselves. Not so much to make the theater better, but just to make us comfortable with ourselves. So I've found that being more comfortable with myself has made me better a performer. So it's always been
But you do take risks.
That's the whole point. That's what I want to...
ruin your glitter joke?
Sure, yeah.
Well, you talk about, everybody says I'm overly theatrical. And
everyone says that, yeah.
Say the wording, I don't want to fuck it up.
Yeah, they say, people complain on stage that I'm on stage, I act too gay or I act too theatrical, and that makes me so fucking angry, and I throw glitter
on the word angry, you throw a pocket full of glitter into the ground.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. Yeah. And that's a risk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That the risk is you have a pocket full of glitter. Do you remember the first...
right. Totally. Right, like, holy shit, if this doesn't work, I've just thrown fucking glitter.
You had, the whole time you were up there, either that will delight us or that will make us really feel bad for you, is that you got stopped on the train and your backpack is filled with dynamite. You did that joke, and if it didn't get a laugh, they're like, this fucking guy had a pocket full of glitter the whole
And that's the thing, that's like really stating the bit. You know, if that falls flat, like...
Yeah. Does it sometimes?
No, that's actually one that's like... it's now has become the thing that like automatically does really well. Yes. So if ever I'm in a set and I feel like there's a lull, that's when I bring it out.
Yeah.
So it literally my like killing applause break is literally in my back pocket.
Yeah.
Like when things are coming back.
What a great thing! What a great thing! When the first time I ever did stand up, I had a bit. Oh, it's so bad. And it was about, listen, these are the kind of jokes I wrote when I was 21, when I started. So this would have been more defensible if I was 16 like you. I could have defended this. It sounds like a 16-year-old premise. I go, you know when you go over to your friend's house for dinner, there's all this pressure. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? There's all this pressure on the mom. What is this premise? To make a good meal. What the fuck am I saying? No one understands what I'm saying.
That's not true.
That's not true. I thought it was true at the time. But
I like the idea of the mom on the
mom. It's kind of a sexist bit.
That's such a childlike thing, though. You know, the mom.
And the bit was, I said, and I always tell them, don't worry, you don't have to impress me. I just sit down and say, whatever you have planned is fine. Then I reached in my back pocket and had a lobster bib and tied the lobster bib on.
That's great.
It didn't work. And it was a crowd full of, well, first of all, the premise is flawed. No one's on board with the premise. You know, when you go to your friend's house,
there's always pressure on the mom. If it had been a girl, though, that was cooking, it would have been fine.
I guess. Yeah, the first time that's fixing it. You go, the first time your lover or girlfriend or boyfriend cooks for you, that's a weird audition of sorts.
Yeah.
Now we fixed it.
Look at this. Weird audition of sorts. Words crashing together. Bit forming. I got front row seats. Front row seats for Hemingway. By his wooden desk.
I know we're joking, but don't you love hanging out with comedians? Isn't it the fucking best?
Yeah, it's tiring, but it's very nice. It's like, at a certain point, it's like...
But you were saying earlier, the ones that aren't always on, you'd certainly say that I'm not an always on guy.
No,
when I talked to Natasha the other day, she did the show. We talked about that magical night when we all hung out. And certainly some laughs were had, but...
No. I mean, Chelsea Peretti, Moshe Kasher, like all my really...
Yes.
Anthony Jeselnik.
Yes.
My real favorite comedians are just normal
dudes?
Well, not normal. I mean, they're just very intelligent and well-spoken and everything, but they're not...
They're special, but they're just like other special
people that are like the real show begins once I step off the stage are just the ones that make me want to slam my head into a brick wall.
Oh, my Jesus. Tiring. Somebody said that was actually one of the best pieces of advice my friend Dan Kaufman gave me when I started. He was like, the show starts when you get there, which is a little bit true. Some clubs do want you to be like, hey, not funny, but like on a little bit. Thing,
and like
you can't mope in. People will be like, what's wrong, Bo?
I know. I realized that a lot of my opinions, too, about things are like high horse, ivory tower things of having not to have grinded my way through those things and not have just kind of stumbled on an audience and being able to work on my stuff with people that were already happy to hear me grow
so happy.
or hear me.
But see, that's mature of you to know that.
Yeah, but I think I like did the right thing of not knowing that. I was aware of that and immediately was like, even though I have an audience and I have people that are supporting this, my voice isn't developed yet. I still need to question it. I still have a lot of I still feel like I haven't found it. I have a lot of
That's great.
room to grow.
Most people would take that check and cash it and then just be horrible. So it's great to hear you struggling with it, because I think that's what we're all supposed to do. It also sounds, you know what I like that I picked up from what you're saying is you don't perform that much.
I don't. I actually I would say 95% of when I perform is doing my whole show.
Doing your full hour.
Doing my full hour.
Because are you here at Meltdown tonight?
No. I hardly ever do sets in LA. Hardly ever.
That's fun, man.
It's weird. I don't know. I don't know if it's the right thing. And
well, no, the right thing is...
I don't really work. I write material and then I bring it on stage.
To do in your hour.
Work it. I don't know. It's a...
Listen, I think
my
what's
process is always strange. My process is a little strange, so I sometimes have trouble comparing it.
Well, I don't think... See, that's a big belief of mine, is every performer, you talk about the Louis thing, the Bill Hicks thing, being true to yourself, so should we be with our process.
Yeah, of course. And, Louis has done this thing. It's great for him that he's turning out an hour every year. Fucking awesome. Because he can do it. Yeah. And he's operating on that gear, and that's awesome. I don't think that's necessary or good for everyone. I mean, this hour has taken... This last hour that I have about 45 minutes of has taken me 2.5 years.
Great.
And the hour before took me only a year. But this one, I know in serving the piece that I need to micromanage things way more. Mm-hmm. And I've been doing drafts of backing. Anyway, that's
interesting.
Mumbo jumbo.
No, people love inside.
But the point is. Yeah, I think it's...
But what I love
just
hearing...
Like the Beatles can turn one out every year because they were in that headspace.
Right,
but
and
that's
Radiohead is what?
It's not right, exactly. Every 3 or 4 or 5.
And let's let that be that.
Yeah.
I guarantee Radiohead doesn't sit around beating themselves up going, we should be putting out a disc every year.
Yeah.
But a lot of stand-ups I know... Look, again, I'm contradicting myself. I think a lot of stand-ups don't perform enough. That's part A.
Yeah,
part B, I think a lot of stand-ups...
Don't throw their material out enough.
Don't
sure. So maybe should churn up the turnaround. But
yes, and also I believe that there's a balance that you need to live. You need to do things. You need to let your subconscious, who, if we're being honest, it's the subconscious that's writing your act. I think that's true. My jokes show up. They show up, and they're done. Not done. That's the worst thing I've ever said. But the words are in there, and then I have to do it on stage. And then if I
suck,
what's that?
They show up and they suck.
That's a better way to do it. They show up and they're pure garbage. But if I do a new bit and it does well, my impulse. Some people's impulse is like, I can't wait to do that tonight again. I go, that did well. Let's let it breathe, like a glass of wine. I'll let it get some air on it. Give it 2 nights of sleep without even doing it again. Then go up and have performance be special, because I need it. Yeah, you know what I mean. If I'm performing all the time, then I don't need it. If I'm doing an 8 o'clock show and then a 10 o'clock show and then a 12 o'clock show on a Saturday, it might not be as good as if on Thursday, when I only have one show, I really need that to be the show. Saturday, 3 shows. Some clubs do that. If it's the 8 o'clock show and it's not going that well, I'll be like, I bet 10 will be better. You know what I mean? That's bad. I want it to be special. I want it to be unique. And I feel like maybe that's how you are.
Yeah. And, this is making me, what you were saying was dragging me to another place, but like,
go there.
So back into the point of like, having not had to come through the clubs, or feel, a little distant, a little, embarrassed by, and also a little fortunate of, because I think a huge part of the boys' club masculinity of this is like comedy being trained and perfected and created in an environment that's really holding one demographic, which is like people out on a night drunk in a small dark place with a girl, maybe. I don't know if that's it's like, and that's where people are writing, and that's what people are catering to in the beginning of their career, and it kind of shapes them into the same thing, and I think the expansion
product of your environment, and you're a product of your environment. You're a product of a weird environment.
I'm a product of an environment where I had to like dice my thing into 2-minute segments that had to hold their attention all the time. So then when I crash them together, it's very all over the place.
Great.
It's very
we have enough guys coming up in the 2-drink minimum girlfriend,
and that shouldn't leave, and that shouldn't.
And I won't leave. That's fine. I'm not even putting it down.
And hopefully the.
But let's see what happens when. Sorry, I'm sure I don't. This isn't an interview. We're just 2 guys talking. But I'm sure everybody loves to be like internets and say. But like, let's have you come up that way.
Of course,
let's see what kind of an artist that becomes.
And then like I've noticed like in Europe and like all these like weird festivals, the Edinburgh Festival and all these comedy festivals, like they have all these like Tim Key is this brilliant poet. He's a comic poet that just sits up there with playing cards and reads poems with jazz playing in the back the whole time. And he was able to come in because he's performing in these weird venues at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Good.
Or just in a different place with a whole different culture that's breeding a whole different type of comic. And
that's one of my big things, man. When you learn how to do comedy, not in a specific club, but in New York City, going up in the clubs, which I did, late night Saturday and late night Friday, rowdy, you learn to survive. You will survive. It's too painful to bomb. And I noticed that I was getting some traits and habits that I was grateful for. We'll call those chops. And then I was also sliding into some lazy habits where I was like, I know this cheap, bad thing will do well. So I wanted to get away from that, and I was also grateful to take some of the grit with it. But then, like, I think what people like you realize is you're like, what am I going to do when and people like Tim Key, is it? What am I going to do when there's a theater of people listening? I think that's what we should all be going for, or at least a lot of the people that I know are going for. Moshe, Chelsea, you, Jesselnick, and certainly myself. I'm going for what happens when it's a theater of quiet, civilized. You know, civilized meaning they're going to sit and watch a show. I don't like my heckler skills aren't going to come into play. Where are you from crowd work is not going to come into play. Let's see what happens if I could go out, and one of the things I could do is flip playing cards and play jazz and read poems. That would work. And what else will work? What other toys can we play with?
Yeah, of course.
I think that's really interesting and exciting.
And it's good because it like shows the, I think the audience is like the most important and often not thought of, participant in the art. And not necessarily just like consumer or like the thing you got to win over.
It's
like the thing you think you got to learn from, the thing you got to.
Well, that's what's so nice about having a draw is you can get. I've said this millions of times. I'll say it a million more times because I love it. Brian Regan says comedians are like musicians, and the audience is the instrument. They're essential. And once you start getting a little bit of a draw, your instruments show up
Yeah.
better. You don't have to force an oboe to sound like a banjo. You can just, a whole audience of oboes showed up, and then you can go because you know how to play the oboe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So go where the oboes are. And learn how to attract the oboes.
Yeah, of course.
Hey, no oboe, but I really want to play some wind instruments with you sometime. That was the worst joke I've ever made. Katie, what are we on time?
Boom.
1:40. Perfect.
1:40. Is that where it gets wrapped?
Not really. We don't really rap. I just want to make sure we're not too short. I'm never trying to make us not go too long. I want to make it not go too short.
Right.
We usually talk about religion. Do you have any spiritual feelings, thoughts?
I'm an atheist. I'm almost certainly an atheist. By that I mean like atheism, like rejecting theism.
Yes. Thank you for saying that. We get that a lot. We get people being like atheists just reject theism.
Yeah, not deism. Like
right.
I'm not an atheist. Like if you want to believe that there's like a thing or whatever that's
atheist.
Yeah,
I've never heard that.
I think I could be wrong.
No, that's great. Deism, a god.
Yeah, I'm not a deist, but like I'm very against, just logically, not more like against the idea of a loving thing. Just from my perspective as being a privileged person that cannot believe that something would give me this and other people so little. But I have.
That's interesting because I've had that given to me the other way on this show. I've had people be like, "I believe in God because I've been given so much."
Yeah, well, I think that's that troubles me a little bit. But I'm very aware that there are people that believe in God that are way, way smarter than me. There are people that believe in God that are way better than me. People around me believe in God that I very much respect, so I don't disrespect.
Right.
I just think when you follow it out, it doesn't check out for me.
Right.
Really, just the idea of a loving or intervening.
Somebody thing. Just today, one of the
I don't know, but I love arguing about. I love hearing.
What if I just attacked you? Yeah. Somebody just tweeted at me today. One of my favorite things about doing the show is the weirdos, is the fan base. They're loving and they send me stuff and they tell me books to read. And they're changing my life.
Awesome.
It's a dialogue. It's wonderful. Someone just tweeted to me today while I was buying coffee at the 7-Eleven. I read something. I don't know if I'll be able to quote it perfectly, but it was like, if God is good, then he's not God. And if something like that, meaning.
Oh, yeah. He's either if God is good, he's not incompetent, or if he's it's like no. It's I think it's like omniscience and like all that crap.
It's the idea that if he's all powerful and can do anything, then he's doing some evil stuff. Is kind of the argument, is that he's not stopping evil. Now, when I was really in the throes of being a believer, I would have been very offended by that and would have come at you and said that the world is fallen and God and what is happening isn't what God wants to be happening, which is a weird thing because he could stop it. It's one of these conundrums. But I would get a little offended at people that, C.S. Lewis wrote a book called The Problem of Pain, where a very intelligent, believing person. Hey, look, I knew someone from Europe. A very
fuck you,
Clive Staples. I know, I deserve that. A very intelligent person wrote a very interesting book about how pain could exist in a world with a God that is omnipotent and all powerful, omnipresent, all that sort of stuff. But it is trickle. It is a trickle.
It is trickle.
It just trickles down all day. Do you find yourself spiritually curious?
I find myself like in awe of the miracle of existing, of like the miracle of consciousness. It makes no sense to me, like the fact that we're here, that I'm separate from people, that I'm experiencing this, that like for me it's so much more beautiful. What I hope, my curiousness is the hope that this is all natural, that all this checks out. The idea that we'd have to skip steps, the idea that at the end of the day the numbers don't add up and you need magic or you need something, is so much less magical to me than the fact that this is all just working naturally and it all checks out and this system actually all does at the end of the day make sense naturally. That is the most awe-inspiring, beautiful possible solution or ending to me. The fact that like no, really what happens is you leave helium or hydrogen, it starts and explodes, and then you have fucking people. Like if that really does, if all the math checks out at the end of the day, that would make me very, very happy. But it's tragic and it's terrible and death is real and it's empty and it's terrifying. It's really scary to me, and I would want nothing more than for everyone to live forever happily. But I just think that what is valuable? Why are and I do think like what are if people believe like we're scared to death for a reason, and it's impossible for us to comprehend the fact that we don't exist anymore. And
very, very difficult.
And it's like, yeah, whatever makes you sleep at night. But if it becomes at all exclusive, it becomes at all like
judgmental.
Yeah, judgmental. Like it, but also like really, just some of the silly stuff. Some of the silly stuff is like we really think that like 2,000 years ago, like that to me is a little like we really are gonna think like 2,000 years ago, like the Son of God was here and like died and rose from the dead, very similarly to like gods 2,000 years ago that we're talking about with the Egyptians.
You mean 2,000 years before that?
Yeah.
Virgin
like
birth.
Really, you're gonna do like I don't know. It's like that seems a little, but it's fine. I mean, okay, but also I'm like, you know what? We can't. You're talking about violent video games being a problem. How about the fact that, like, torture porn given to... I don't think children should be taught about a man who was nailed to a cross. I think this is the most violent and horrific imagery to give to children.
Right.
I don't think this is a story for kids. I don't think a smiley story of 6 million people being drowned while a guy with a bunch of animals in a boat. I don't think this is healthy. I think it's healthy to tell children that they're... but really, though, I don't get that. I walk into a Catholic church and there's a tortured... graphic depiction of a man dying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the children should not be allowed to see this.
That's the Catholic cross. The Protestant cross is off of there. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
They took him off, which I was grateful for because that's scary. He's always very skinny. Too, and he looks really sad.
Well, yeah, when he was 5'2" and like $115, right? That's what all the men were back then.
Oh, you mean Jesus of Nazareth?
Yeah.
What about like 5'2", $115? Yeah. What do you want? Some olives? This is like Bible shopkeeper, but kind of from Brooklyn.
But like Tim Minchin that sort of dude is a great line in like one of his songs, Storm. It's like this 9-minute beat poem about this, and he says like throughout history, every mystery ever solved has turned out to be not magic, and that's sort of what the more we learn, the more whittled down religion explains for me. Like it used to explain why the sun rose and why, but then we found out why the sun rose and now it's right now explaining the only thing we can't explain, which is like our emotions and our sense of self and our being and our soul. But I don't want to stand too hard on this, but I do believe that will eventually all be explained.
Like this is your second kind of allusion to what I think is the singularity. Are you hip to this?
Yeah, but I mean the singularity, I'm not sure about that. I don't know if like we can reach that. I think there's a plateau of natural resources and people, and I don't think with like a working class and poor people around we can do this. I think there's a breaking point for what we can push humans to be able to do when there's so much poverty and so much war and all this stuff. I just don't, it's...
Because the singularity for all of us to upload our consciousness into computers and put a computer consciousness into everything.
Well, it's sort of like, for me, it's like...
It requires us to stop fighting and fucking and punching each other and be hungry and all that sort of stuff. Is that what you're saying, kind of?
Yeah. Well, I just don't think... I don't know. I don't know if there's enough resources just to get this, whatever this thing is done. I mean, we'll blow each other up first. But, what will blow us up is the idea of, I think, the infinity being at stake. And that's what religion that's the danger for me, is the idea that infinity is at stake. People go crazy when they think they're serving infinity and the creator of the universe. But if it's like, no, this is all we get. I don't think if this is all we get, people would kill themselves. And I think if people knew that this was all we have, we'd cherish it a little more.
Well, that's come up on the show, I know, because Katie, you had it animated, which I can't wait to release that. But I was talking to Steve Agee about the idea that if we could wrap our minds around this is it, Bo, wouldn't you and I go get an ice cream right now? You know what I'm saying? Or, I mean, an argument could be made, wouldn't you and I go and do yoga? Or, like, wouldn't I sleep less? Wouldn't I read more? Like, what is keeping me from really going, like, this is it? Let's fucking watch This Is It with Michael Jackson over and over. I'm just saying, like, it's hard for people, it's overwhelming for people to think. Sometimes with your Saturday, your weekend, there's too many things to do, so you do nothing. And there's something kind of comforting about being like, this isn't it. My soul will go on. And if you want to be new agey, which I have been lately, I love listening to the phases I go through on this show. Yeah. Currently in a new agey kind of like our soul's consciousnesses could continue and go around and explore universes. And that sounds great to me.
Could, yeah, sure.
Could, maybe, yes. Who cares? Yeah. But that's a comforting thought to me, because otherwise we're going to have to go and see a movie tonight and watch the sun set, watch the sun rise, learn how to do that weird Japanese sad dancing, or I can go, I'm going to get a shot to do some pretty cool things when I die, and I'm going to go to bed at 10:30.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. And you know what? Probably my belief more is that, like, it actually isn't for us to know. Whatever the truth is may not be the healthiest thing for us. Like, us knowing the truth about what it is may not be what's intended.
Yeah.
It might be. Maybe we are meant to believe that us animals are meant to believe that we go on, and that's a thing that's evolutionary safe for us to keep going. Like, maybe how we're serving the universe is like as a hive mind of people, and what we're meant to do is just to build machines that go on to actually serve the real purpose of the universe. So we are meant to believe that we are immortal, just so we don't go crazy and we don't kill ourselves.
So we
I
can
don't
build
know if
those
truth is
machines.
meant for us to know. I don't know if we're meant to know these things.
That's so interesting. The idea that's kind of like an AI where we build the machines that end up living forever.
Yeah,
like end up living in.
Well, I've thought that like maybe
age.
we are the. Maybe we are one step of the step of the evolution. Like, okay, so when, the first, like, out of the primordial ooze, life begins, and then eventually, I do believe, like, all animals are dead ends to us, which are the sapient species. Like, we are the important species that came out of all of this. I do believe that. That's always a little controversial, but I do believe, like, all life
It's always a little controversial.
I always meant, like, all life and all is really meant to create the sapient species, and the rest are meant to serve and sustain the sapient species to either improve themselves and go out of the earth, or either create machines that go out of the earth. But
it's funny you have this.
Like, I look at animals and like, oh, you're adorable and you have feelings and we should care for you, but you are dead ends to us, which are the thinking species, the ones that create society.
And I think that's then the fear that these machines that we create. Almost inevitably, we've been telling the story since the 60s or earlier.
Maybe,
that
but
they're going to
like,
look at us and be like, "Why would something a million times smarter than me give a shit about me?"
But why would a thing a million times better than us be as hateful and as violent as us? That's what I think.
Wouldn't it be more that he just doesn't care? Like it's like
I think
I don't go trying.
I would almost think they care more. That's what I'd personally say, that they care more.
That's your hope.
That would be my belief. I would think, because I would think the most highly evolved of us are empathetic to ones are non-violent. I think
that I've had that thought where I'm like, I'd like to think that machines, that these inevitable super intelligent machines that are going to come, that will make, I'd like to think they would know well enough to go, these are the guys that made us.
I think they would be so far beyond anything that we could ever do. But
it's so creepy.
I don't think they'd be like. For those listening, I made a gun.
Yeah, you did a gun. I think they got it. Yeah. And I pictured the T-800 just kind of slowly shooting over the plane with that barrel.
Yeah, I know. I picture them being, peaceful. Well, who knows? We won't be around. Who gives a shit?
I think they say we might be around.
No, that's that I don't believe. I don't believe the singularity is around the corner at all. Just because like iPods are doubling every year doesn't mean
2029. I think.
Yeah. That's I couldn't. That's ridiculous to me. That's ridiculous to me.
I hope you're wrong, man. What am I? I'm Johnny. Buy into it. You tell me that we can meditate and leave our bodies, and that spirits go on, and multidimensional beings, and all this stuff. I'm like, I'm with you. You tell me that there is no God and atheism, but we're going to create supercomputers and we'll exist forever. I'm like, I get it. Just tell me something that will make me feel like I'm going to live forever, please.
Well, you know what you could do? You could.
I don't want to be that dog crossing.
You can listen
the
to this podcast and you'll feel like you've lived forever, like it's never ending.
Well, are you roasting the show? You know, it's funny. Roast. No. We've done the show so long that we forgot our bit. It's boom. You say boom.
No, I think it's roast, right?
Is it? Katie?
Roast. Rolls
off the tongue. You know what's funny? One last singularity thought, and then we'll fucking get out of here and eat a banana split.
Yeah.
You could reconstruct my personality. There's been enough recordings of me now.
It's great.
Isn't that weird?
Well, and you want to tie it all back, all this technology talk, into comedy.
Yes.
There's some comedians.
I love a long podcast.
That have got.
I don't apologize for the length of this podcast.
Oh, no. I love it. I think we'll like it. No.
I'm just trying to assert myself. I'm like, I'm repeating myself and I own it.
No,
this show is
fully,
I know. You're
it's
the
just
best.
Self-deprecating
Yes,
comedy.
of course. I love a good roast. You know I love a roast.
A lot of comedians bash the fact that material is taped and put online.
Yes.
And that's a big problem, and that it ruins it.
Yep.
And I think it's such a beautiful thing. Like, if I go online, I can see myself performing for the last 4 years. I can see my bits evolve.
I'm the same way.
And more importantly, a kid, if he wanted to become a comedian, could go online and see my process, which is, I think, just as important as my product.
And piece it together.
Immortalized.
Actually,
also... That's really, I love that. I love that so much.
With podcasts, you can also hear the conversations that led to the bit, that led to the first time you did it, that someone bootlegs and it's online. You could trace it all back. And I
isn't that what it's important?
I think
it's
that
not
is
important.
What it's
about. And what are they doing? It's cutting out some of the sales.
Yeah.
And multimillionaires are becoming millionaires, or whatever the fuck the record industry and the movie.
Right.
All these things are going to collapse. It's going to be wonderful. Like when the studios collapse, the movie studios and the music studio, all of this is all it's doing is putting art back into people's hands.
Yes.
Because I think art is something that is meant to be made as much it is consumed. And right now, a group of people, artists, have hoarded it as this thing to sell. And I think it's just as important to do as it is to make. And I picture the future, the internet growing into something where art is now being created by groups of people, that there are like works of music that entire groups are contributing to.
Yeah.
And as we see technology like putting music studios in people's houses, and I think in 20 years an IMAX camera will be able to be on your phone, and you'll have cameras that can self-light a scene, you can make your own movie.
Right.
This is all, it's making it less sellable. It's going to make the rich less rich. It's going to make celebrities and
less famous,
and it's going to like make everyone artists, and it's going to make
it's great.
Yeah, I'm so excited about it. I'd love if it makes ticket sales or album sales plummet, like fucking good riddance. Like I'm so excited
for the betterment of mankind.
Yeah, for like I really do feel, having been someone who's been able to participate in like creating art, that I want everyone else to have that. I don't want everyone else to fucking love watching mine. I mean, it'd be wonderful to do that, but again, I think it's something to be done, not something to necessarily just be...
fucking brilliant.
You know?
Fucking perfect way to... Fucking great. See?
Yeah, we did it.
And it happened in the last 5 minutes of a 2-hour podcast. You're the fucking best, Bo. I get a lot of shit on the show for kissing people's asses, but I love you, man. I think you're fantastic.
Thanks, Pete. We're good friends, man.
We're the best of friends.
Yeah. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. We do it for another... Will you say keep it crispy? You don't have to.
Oh, yeah. Keep it crispy.
Kind of lispy. That was our first lispy crispy.
Was it a little lispy?
Thanks, Bo.
Of course, man.